NBA is my time too, man. You know I love NBA. We talked about it last year, how much we both love the NBA and both love the Lakers. Obviously, huge dub last night.
I know, huge dub.
How about Anthony Davis, man? I mean, it's always consistency and injuries, but it just looks so good with JJ's schemes last night.
They're forcing him the ball, which I really appreciate because I feel like with Darvin Ham, no shot at him. It's just he just didn't utilize our team well at all. So I'm happy to see him force the ball to AD this season.
I mean, hands in his pockets, ham. Like the memes about him just standing there. It's like people thought that was a joke, but if you actually watch the games, he truly was just standing there. Like
Yeah,
it was
no
crazy.
energy, no passion.
I saw a cut up of like JJ's mic'd up moment in a timeout versus one of Darvin Ham's last year, and it was just like the difference between the two is so funny.
Yeah, one guy's like, "We're playing hard, salute," and then JJ's like, "You
Yeah.
guys are paying great attention to detail, stuff like that." So definitely a huge improvement.
Okay, let me know if you get that tweet. Go post that and post your link underneath. Guys, if you're in here right now, we are talking NBA. We got a 10-game slate. The NBA is back. We are in the swing of the sports equinox. If you're a sports bettor, this is, excluding maybe March Madness for some, this is the best time of the year by far. Um, and we have also college basketball here in a couple of weeks too. But we'll let some people trickle in here. If you can't tell already, I am with the legendary Sriracha DFS, one of the sharpest minds in DFS, in basketball, in esports, and pretty much anything that you can handicap. I have blindly tailed him a lot, and I will continue to do so today if he gives us some insight. So, Sriracha, I appreciate you coming on today, man.
Yeah, man, super stoked. My first NBA stream of the year. Ready to get after it. A ton of games and a ton of exciting, I guess, new teams to look at.
Yeah, it feels like there was like a lot of move. I mean, there's always a lot of movement in the NBA in the off season, but this definitely feels like we're headed towards more parity than ever. Hopefully, the East is a little bit healthier because what we saw from Boston last night is alarming. Just with how good they were, I do not want them to run through the East again. So obviously, not a good start with Paul George and Joel Embiid out for the Sixers. Giannis questionable. I think he plays tonight. It looks like he was last time I checked. But yeah, I just hope the East doesn't give Boston a free ride in there. Um, Hold on, let me tweet this. Get his plays here, guys. I am tweeting out a link to Sriracha's Dub Club right underneath the stream. If you're not in there already, I imagine a lot of you are if you're watching this right now. But there's a reason he has such a high retention rate and so many members in his cord. It's because the dude is awesome. So I'm putting the link right below the stream. Get his plays here. Boom. Okay. All right. Well, Sriracha, we have a lot of games tonight. I'm sure you have a ton of slips in mind, whether you've already placed them. Do you want to go game by game, or do you want to start with some of the ones that you really like and just pop around? It's up to you.
Let's do let's do game by game. We'll try to. This is what I usually do when I stream. So I go over game by game, kind of cover the stuff that really stands out to me, and then kind of take questions as we go. So
Sweet. All right. Well, then we will go game by game. Let me get my FanDuel up here, even though I know this is probably a big DFS crowd. I am a FanDuel guy. But now that I'm in Illinois, maybe I have to get back into DFS stuff. So this could be it. Okay. Amazing slate. We will start in Detroit. A couple Midwest teams. Detroit is at home. Obviously, the Pacers are a 5-point favorite. The total is sitting at 235 on FanDuel right now. What are you looking at for this game, Raja?
all right. So right off the bat, I mean Detroit has so many people that play the same position. Um, I'm a little worried with anybody on this team outside of Cade and Jalen Duren. Um, you have Tobias, who's a new signee, Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley. So there's so many guys that they've added that I guess they're forced to technically play, but they also have the youngins with with Thompson, Jaden Ivey, Marcus Sasser, and then they had Fontecchio, who they traded for last season. Played pretty well for them now he's going to be coming off the bench. So a lot of guards and forwards for them. Outside of like Cade again and Jalen Duren, I probably won't be playing anybody from the Detroit side. However, on the Pacers side, Andrew Nemhard is a guy that at 10 points, he's a pretty good player prop. Also like Halliburton assists. At 10, he's always pretty safe, high usage player. And then if you wanted to get a little bit creative, guys like Mathern and TJ McConnell should be getting a lot more usage with the departure of Buddy Hield. So those are some guys I'm looking at from this game.
Yeah, McConnell, I mean, he definitely opened a lot of people's eyes last year. He was very impressive. Like, just kind of does all the right things, hustle player, the tropes. But he, I think, is a little bit more on the radar. Hopefully early in this season, we can still get some value on his props because, I mean, he proved himself last year when they had injuries. So I like your analysis there. Next one would have, I think, been the game of the day. Still might be to some people. In Philly, Bucks Sixers. Obviously, Giannis was still questionable, but it looks like he might be playing now. I did take a couple props on Giannis tonight, but we'll see. No Joel Embiid, no Paul George. The Bucks are a 4-point favorite at Philly. The total is 222.5 right now on FanDuel. Are you looking at anything in this game?
I mean, obviously with, no Joel, no Paul George, it's a big hit for Philly. Their starting lineup's going to be pretty, it's hit or miss here, right? You guys have Kelly Oubre, Eric Gordon, and then Kyle Lowry coming off the bench. So it's like if these veterans don't step up, this could easily turn into a blowout today. The main guy I'm thinking that will have to be the X factor for the 76ers is Andre Drummond. Will he be able to utilize his offensive rebounding against Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis? That's like the biggest question mark. His prop opened up at 10.5 for rebounds and moved to 14. So probably won't be playing it there, but I mean, his PR or fantasy, definitely some options. And then obviously Tyrese Maxey, 28.5 points, pretty high considering, the matchup. But I mean, if the game stays close, I think you have to anticipate Maxey having a huge game. And on the flip side for the Bucks, I mean, it's hard. Lillard's at 25 points. Giannis is at, let me see, what is Giannis at? What is the last? Giannis is at, I actually don't have a point line for him yet. Hold on.
I think they still haven't announced. I don't think they've announced fully if he's in. I was able to get his double-double earlier, and I parlayed that with the money line to make it even money. But
Gotcha.
I've seen his props on and off, so I think they're still waiting for an announcement. That's why I looked at it when I knew Joel and Paul George were out. I looked at the 4-point spread. I was like, what is this? Chris Middleton's out for the next couple of days, and then Giannis is still questionable. Do you see like a kind of a back and forth potentially between Maxey and Damian Lillard tonight? Do you kind of see them trying to go bucket for bucket, high pace, just trying to huck it, or what do you see from the two guards?
Well, the good thing for Lillard is that the 76ers lost DeAnthony Melton in the offseason. He was their main ball defender, really aggressive, in-your-face type of guy. And now you have Eric Gordon, who's pretty old, slow. He's still a decent defender, but nothing compared to Melton. I don't know what the Sixers are going to plan to do here. I don't know if they're going to throw Maxey onto Lillard or if they're going to try to just, throw a couple defenders at him. But I'm definitely going to give the edge here to Maxey, even though his lines are a little higher, just because of the overall usage.
Yeah, and pace. I mean, he's just he wants the ball in his hands and he wants to get down on the floor quickly. So anytime there's a high usage, high movement player like that, I do love those. We've got a couple chats in here. We got a bunch of shout outs for Racha. Racha, salute. Oh my God, is that Daddy Racha? Stosh is in the chat. Shout out Stosh. Absolute legend. Who else is in here? Lewis is in here. Lou wants to see the jersey. OG Lonzo Ball before they switched to Nike. If you know Ball, you know. And we got Prop Geek Zeke in here. Shout out Zeke. What's going on, guys? We're just getting started. We're only 2 games in. So we got a lot more for you. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Drop some plays in the chat, too. If we have time at the end, we'll go over them. Maybe we'll tail some. Depends how sharp you guys are. We'll see. Also, Jay Money says, shout out Sriracha. That's Sriracha, he the GOAT. Yeah, you're getting a lot of love in here. I love it. Let's go. Cool. All right. Anything else for that game? I mean, I guess there's not a lot to say until Giannis is declared because that changes everything. But
I'm pretty sure he'll play. But honestly, like there's a lot of other spots that I think are likely better on the board than to
yeah,
force potential blowout. And
yeah,
the Philly lines are already high enough, so I think we're good on that.
yeah. We already have day one PTSD after Boston went nuclear last night, so I think we're gonna pick our spots when we have a slate like this. I love it. All right, next one. We're going up north. We're going to Toronto. The Cavs are a 6.5 point favorite at Toronto. The total is 225.5. What do you see here?
Honestly, I did not expect the total to be this high. I know Toronto's going to be throwing out a pretty lackluster lineup. They're without RJ Barrett, no Bruce Brown, no Kelly Olynyk. So it's going to be Emmanuel Quickly, Grady Dick, Oshai, Scotty Barnes, and Jakob Pertl. Um, I mean, they're going to be pretty undersized as well, going against Mobley and Jarrett Allen. I got the Cavs here, possibly covering the spread at 6.5. I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair, and I'm probably going to be fading this game as a whole for props.
Yeah, I was only looking at Grady Dick. I feel like this is kind of a moment, like you said, their lineup is a little bit scavenged, for lack of a better term. So this feels like an opportunity. Hey, let's get the young guy active, see if we can get him moving. But yeah, it does feel like a weird spot for a lot of those. So I see that. And yeah, the total was shockingly high. That's interesting. I don't know. Next game, I think could be a stinker, but depends what kind of basketball you like to watch. The Nets are going to Atlanta. The Hawks are a 6.5 point favorite. The total is sitting at 223. Anything in this game?
I actually like this game a lot. So going on the Hawks side, we have no more DeJounte Murray. Dyson Daniels is going to take his spot and start there. A huge breakout season for Jalen Johnson on the way. He just got paid $30 million a year, so they're expecting big things out of him. Um, and obviously, like they have Clint Capella still, Onyeka Okongwu still, but they also got Larry Nance. So how will this affect Clint Capella's minutes? I don't know. Now they have two options for small ball, and that's kind of worrisome because now if they're not playing a center that likes to really be an offensive threat, then Clint Capella won't be used as much. So I'm not expecting, his usual 28 to 30 minutes a night unless it's matchup. In this matchup versus Nick Claxton, still don't mind his rebounds, but just be cautious with it. I know it's one of the more popular plays today. I don't mind it, but guess got to be cautious with it.
Yeah, and that concerns me. It's like Trae Young's usage in the pick and roll. Like he's just so fantastic when he has a big who can work in the 2-man game like that. So I hope they don't limit his minutes because that feels like, I mean, Trae Young, you could argue is as Steph ages now the best kind of pick and roll, space the defense out, and then make moves to the basket with a big guy dude in the NBA. So I don't know. We'll see. That's going to be both of those teams completely new looks. I don't know what to expect for either of them. So yeah, I see that. All right, next one. I'm in Chicago now. Or no, we can't skip one. We got a Florida matchup actually first before we get to that game. We got Magic and the Heat. The Magic look like they're coming up. They're a 2-point underdog at Miami. The total's sitting at 208. Another Miami low total just because we know how they want to play basketball. Anything you got in this game?
This one should be a slow game. Orlando is probably going to be one of the best defensive teams in the league. They got KCP, won the finals the last 2-3 years in a row. Just all around great defender. They're going to be really hard against guards, and then they have Paulo and Wendell Carter. Still a little bit weaker on that center position. Wendell's not a bad center, but I mean they could also upgrade there. But overall, slow game. I think my main prop here would be JJJ, Jaime Jaquez Jr. over PRA. It's at 13 right now, which I think is pretty low considering he will get a lot of minutes off the bench. They're going to be starting Nikola Jovic, who really never got consistent run for the Heat last season. So expecting JJJ to pick up those bench minutes. They're also missing Josh Richardson tonight as well. So a lot of minutes open at the forward position. And 13 PRA, I mean, it's almost a gimme prop.
Yeah, it feels like the Magic are kind of turning into like maybe you don't see this as much, but feels like the Magic are turning into like NFL equivalent what the Lions were like 2-3 years ago, where they've built the right pieces. They have a really good roster, but they're still kind of slept on. feel like they're on the cusp of something very cool in that team. But they are kind of like the Capper favorite preview as a team to make the playoffs or team to make a run, just with a very young and maybe underdeveloped roster. But Paolo is him. I mean, he's incredible, and he just like under the radar will put up crazy stats, and obviously small market, people don't talk about it much, but I'm excited for the Magic this year. I think they could have a really fun team. All right, next one. I'm not a Bulls fan. I'm a Lakers fan. Shout out Lake Show. But I am in Chicago, so I'm surrounded by a lot of Bulls fans, and I know they're actually. I don't know if they're excited for this team or what. Not much to be excited for, but could be sneaky. Could be some opportunities in this with this team this year. But they are a 5.5-point underdog at New Orleans, who's got some new pieces this year. The total is sitting at 226.5. You got anything going in this game?
Yeah, I'm surprised the total's basically the same as the Cavs and Raptors one. Because I mean, you look at these two teams and you just look at two young teams that love to run, right? The main thing for me here is Vucevic might have a huge game here. The Pelicans are deciding to have zero centers on their roster, it seems like. I don't know what they plan to do when they play bigger teams. They have Herbert Jones and Zion Williamson currently playing the 4 and 5. And Vucevic, I mean, historically, he's always done good versus smaller centers. So his points at 17 and a half, PR at 29 and a half is a little bit high. The rebounds, I don't know if they're going to be there considering a smaller team. Yes, theoretically he should get more rebounds, but I also think that also equates to spacing. He's going to have to be on the perimeter more often. So I prefer the points here. But yeah, so definitely think the Bulls will have the upper edge in terms of the inside presence, but overall, I think the Pelicans take this game.
Yeah, no, I like that. Pelicans, I don't have a read on them at all. Kind of same with the Bulls. Feels like both of these teams are going to be something very weird. I will be, however, looking at Josh Giddey double doubles all year. I think now Josh Giddey will have the ball a lot more and a lot more opportunities. Now that he's off of an incredibly talented roster. I'll be looking at Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey deserves or gets way too much hate for actually being a very good player who, when has needed to, stepped up. So I'll be looking at him all year. Shout out my Bulls fans down the hallway over there. This game, I see a lot. I have some action in this game. I see a lot of people in props in this game just because it feels like one of those matchups where the right guys can just go nuclear. But we're looking at Charlotte versus Houston. The game is in Houston. The Rockets are a 7.5-point favorite. Kind of a high total, sitting at 229.5. What are you looking at in this game?
Give me Jalen Green over points. I think it's a popular play, but for a good reason. Playing the Hornets, who, yeah, they got a little bit better defensively with the signing of Josh Green. But I mean, Jalen Green in fast-paced matchups, totals out basically 230, like you said. The usage is going to be there. Houston didn't really lose or gain too many pieces, so I think the overall volume is going to be consistent, just like last year. I believe he covered this the last 5 times versus Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it matters too much, but when you look at history versus teams, the fact that he's gone off and done very well is also a big bonus. On top of that, he's playing at home, so 20 points. I like the over.
Love that. Is that your only prop you're looking at in this game?
I'm debating LaMelo Ball. His lines look a little bit low to begin the season. I feel like 7.5 assists, 5 rebounds, 12.5 RA just seems a little low for LaMelo. I know the type of player he is, and he's very capable of dropping a triple-double any given night. Playing Houston is going to be a little bit tougher, but I mean, he does have a pretty good overall matchup versus the front court that's a little undersized. So,
yeah, people sleep on his size. They definitely do. He can take advantage of matchups, and people don't really expect it. Shout out Ball Brothers, obviously. I got a play for you, though, on this game. I don't know if you're interested. Take it or leave it. I think Sengun's going to have a night. I think they will not have an answer for him. I think Sengun – I'm taking Sengun 3 ways. I'm going Sengun over 13.5 rebounds and assists. I'm taking Sengun double-double, and I'm sprinkling on Sengun triple-double at plus 3,100. I'm all over him. I'm going to be all over him all season. He just got paid. I think this is the time we see Baby Jokic really step up into a role. I think last year he was gaining his confidence. I think this is a year where people are going to be like, well, there's the next European superstar, Sengun. If you've been watching, you knew this was coming, but I think this is the time where he really flips a switch and gets confidence from that franchise. So I'm all over him all year.
I like that. It's a great matchup, and I think something else you can also sprinkle in is his fantasy score on Prize Picks or DraftKings Underdog. 41 and a half. You know, he's been trying to prioritize being a better defender. He's gotten a couple of steals and blocks in his couple preseason games that he played in limited minutes. Not that it matters too much again, but it's just if a player is making a conservative effort to get more involved, get more active, and to
Yep.
see that actually translate is a good sign. So
Yeah,
definitely like
especially a guy who can do it all and wants to. And Jokic has laid that mold for a play style like that where you can just kind of sit in and out of the lane and just keep the ball up top and make plays. So I think I'm glad you're aligned with me because guys, if you're in here right now, I just enjoy ball. This guy knows ball. So take anything that he says seriously. Take things that I say as a maybe. So we got a couple more games here. I am going to take a sec to read some of these chats because we've got a lot. We'll go over maybe some plays at the end if you have some time, Sriracha. I know Chili is coming on after you, but he's running a little bit late. So depending on your schedule, maybe we can go through some of these. But you're getting just a ton of love in here. I got to shout some of these guys out. Jeremiah, shout out to you. Junior, shout out to you. Frank, D. Rich, Cannabis Culture, okay. Nilo, Mr. Parlay, all these guys are just giving you all the love in the world right now, Racha. So your community is awesome, man. Every time we do something with you, it's good feedback. So shout out everybody in here. I'll go through these plays at the end, by the way. Keep dropping them, and we'll go through the good ones. Shout out to the guy that said Giddy rebounds and assists over. I'm definitely with you on that one. But we got a couple more games to go through before we get into the chats. We have, I think, will be a fun matchup. We have Grizzlies Jazz. Memphis is a 2-point favorite at Utah. The total is, again, sitting at 229.5. Is there anything in this game that you like?
Ooh, this is gonna be an interesting one. Memphis is already dealing with like so many injuries, and the season just started. Uh, I feel bad almost that they have to go through all this stuff, and now it's just opening up value. But Jaren Jackson out, Gigi Jackson out, Luke Kennard out, Cam Spencer, and then Vince Williams also out. So a lot of forwards out. That should open up a lot of time for like Santi Aldama. I think he's a sleeper play today. I haven't seen many people talk about him, but at 9.5 points, 6 rebounds, 15.5 PR, he's gonna play a lot of minutes. Currently, we have him projected for about 28 to 30 minutes tonight, and against a Utah team that, you know, kind of lacking size right now because they're going to be playing Taylor Hendricks over John Collins. That four position will be a weak link defensively. So I think that's the spot we kind of attack along with John Morant over rebounds and assists. But yeah,
I love that. Wait, who did you say was the play that not a lot of people are talking about?
Santi Aldama. He's going to be starting at power
Yes.
forward tonight for the Grizzlies.
I am making a note of that. I love your rationale in terms of spacing and opening it up for those guys. I will definitely be making some plays based off of that. All right, two more games in this slate. Moving into the late slate tonight. I guess not late for you. The latest slate. We've got Golden State at Portland. Golden State is a 6.5 point favorite. The total is sitting at 221.5. A lot of injuries on these teams, but I still think it could be a fun game. What do you see here?
Yeah, another low total that I didn't expect considering these teams kind of like to run. But the Warriors and the Blazers don't have concrete starting lineups yet, and that's a red flag for me in terms of betting. I mean, of course, you can take the core guys, like if you like to play Steph or, Draymond Green or Simons and stuff like that. But in terms of the core starters, the Warriors still haven't decided on a starting lineup. We could see so many different things here. Steve Kerr's experimented with a lot. We could see Pajemski start at the two. We could see Melton start at the two. We don't even know if Wiggins is going to start. He had a really late start to the preseason. Will Kuminga even start? So we really don't know for the Warriors. That might be a later thing to bet on. And then for the Blazers, Scoot Henderson was supposed to be penciled in as a starting point guard all season or all off season. And then randomly, Chauncey Billups says that he might bring Scoot off of the bench. And then that's what he did in the last game of the preseason, which he deemed as a dress rehearsal. So now, looking into the props, like Scoot looks great at 20 PRA, but if he doesn't start, that may hurt his production a little bit. Although I still feel like he'll get at least 28 to 30 minutes of run with a lot of usage regardless. So I do like that play.
I've seen a good amount of people on him, and I don't think they. I think even if he doesn't start, you're right. He's going to get his minutes. That's a young guy that needs time on the floor, and so yeah, if he's not starting, it feels like one of those coach moves where it's like we want this guy to not get too comfortable and keep like he's a high motor player, but keep him motivated and not get settled in like a lot of young guys do when they get the guaranteed start. It's kind of just like, all right, well, yeah, I'm the starter, so let's hoop. But
Yep.
could be one of those kind of old-fashioned coach moves, especially from a guy like Chauncey, but we'll see. We got one more game, which the Clippers, I mean, we're at a point now where they legitimately might get another lottery pick and have to hand it over to the Thunder. The Thunder could just get another lottery pick and just be sitting with even more abundance of picks and players. I can't stand it. But the Suns are fun, so that's at least exciting. So Suns are at LA. They're a 5-point favorite, and the total is sitting at 224.5. What do you see here?
It's going to be a good one. Hopefully it stays close. The Clippers got a lot of wings and forwards with Kawhi out. So one guy I'm really looking at is Kevin Porter Jr., KPJ. 6.5 rebounds and assists. A sneaky play. He's always been a guy that can do it all. The main roadblock here is going to be Bones Highland soaking up that point guard usage. But if KPJ plays well, he could definitely see himself in this closing unit over a guy like Terrence Mann, right? So I know they're really high on him, and I think Ty Lue wants to see more of KPJ. So 6.5 rebounds and assists. He did really well in the preseason as well. So definitely want to see more of him. And then on the Phoenix side, I mean, adding a guy like Tyus Jones to an offense that needs a true point guard is going to be stellar for them. I'm really, high on Kevin Durant tonight. I think, at 30 PR, I think that was the last thing. Let me see. Yeah, he's at 33.5 PRA, 30 PR. Great matchup, fast pace. Should be a really, really good game. So I really like KD tonight.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because I took Terrence Mann 10+ points. I was looking at him, but I was not aware that they potentially could be favoring KPJ like that. So that is why you listen to a guy like Sriracha and you subscribe to their DubClub, which is right underneath the stream if you guys want to get access to all of his slips and everything that he has going on tonight. This is the best time of the year to subscribe to somebody like Sriracha who handicaps multiple sports at a high level. So good. I might cash out that Terrence Mann and flip it to KPJ. So we'll see. I appreciate that. Do you see, actually, side note, before we get into the chats here, can the Suns make a run? Is this the time? You said they needed a point guard. Is this the time that they're actually going to make a run? Because we're 2 years into this Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant situation. Do you see it this year?
It's all going to come down to Nurkic. It sucks that I have to say that, but I think he's the biggest X factor for this team, right? You look at their playoff runs, they struggle on defense with Nurkic. They have to run their backups. But I think Mason Plumlee might be a big game changer for them as well. So this could be the season. They finally got their true point guard. They got Monte Morris as a backup point guard, who is a stellar addition.
Starter on most teams.
Oh,
Starter
yeah.
on a lot of teams in the NBA.
Yeah. And then having Mason Plumlee as well coming off the bench to kind of give you that energy with, Nurkic kind of being inconsistent as he is. The Suns team can make it, but it's just going to come down to consistency towards the end of the season.
Yeah, their question had been depth, and it seems like they have patched some of that up this offseason. So that's why I asked, because it's like they have kind of answered the questions that were holding them back in terms of depth and health in the postseason. So maybe some of those offseason ads will help them out there. Well, that's the entire slate. We've got some plays in the chat here that I thought really stood out. There was a lot of Zach Edey talk in the chat. I see a ton of Zach Edey talk. Are you touching any Zach Edey props? I see his PRA on here. Some people are saying over 19.5. They're looking at his assists. Is there any Zach Edey play for tonight?
I think if you do play Edie, definitely touch the PRA rather than the PR. It's only a point 0.5 difference, and he's actually looking to pass the ball a little bit more. I think he had like 4 assists in one game in the preseason. I know it doesn't matter much, but the fact that he's actively looking to pass the ball or play his fantasy, he's always a good source of blocks with his size.
Mm.
I guess the only thing that's really worrisome is if the Jazz decide to go small, because Kessler usually most of the time he won't finish the game. It's going to be John Collins at center or a smaller lineup with Laurie Marketing at center. So if Edie can get it done in 25 minutes that Kessler plays, I think they're going to match up size wise and kind of come in when if the other guy comes in, then Edie will come in. And then vice versa. As soon as Kessler sits, I think Edie will also sit because there's no need for, that size.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean he definitely has a lot to prove, and I think one way you can prove yourself in the league is by being valuable in every facet of the game. So I think he might turn into that passing, like I talked about with Sengun, just having the ball high and just keeping your vision open and trying to find value there. So that's good perspective. I see a lot of Kobe White talk as well. Are you touching anything with Kobe White? I see a lot of. I've seen 3 that are Kobe White assists, 4+ assists, whatever his actual line is. Do you see anything with Kobe White tonight?
Not a bad play. I mean, at 4 assists, not too bad. I was kind of just debating on fading the Bulls in general, other
Mm.
than like Lonzo and Vooch. Didn't talk about Lonzo yet. I'll get into that right after.
Sure.
But Kobe White assists, not that bad. I think 4+ is a comfortable spot. Preseason, he got, I think, 4 in. Let me see here. Yeah, he got 4+ in the games that he played. One game he ended at 3. So 3, 4, and 8 were his assist numbers in the preseason. So definitely not that bad. A little bit of a usage hit, but overall good spot.
Well, let's talk Lonzo while we're here. I mean, I watched some of his preseason. He looked awesome, very exciting. I mean, I'm wearing a Lonzo Ball jersey right now. I was all in on Big Baller Brand. Didn't buy the shoes, but I did. I'm a Laker fan, so it was a cool time in basketball and culture history. But just talk to me about Lonzo Ball. What do you see from him this year, and what are you looking at for tonight?
Yeah, huge BBB guy as well. Went to his album release party. Met him,
No
met his
way.
dad. It was super cool, really good guy. But, coming off of an injury, he's supposed to be limited to 16 minutes tonight. But if you look at his lines, I mean, 5 points, 10 PRA. You give me 8 minutes a half from Lonzo Ball, I'm pretty sure he can get us 5 stats in a half. The one thing I'm worried about is, his aggressiveness. A lot of his shots came from 3 in the preseason. So if that shot's not hitting, then we're going to be needing a lot of rebounds and assists. But I mean, it's 10, in 16 minutes. I know, yeah, you're not going to be, sweating out this prop because basically it's going to be like midway through the third quarter. That's it. That's all you're going to see from Lonzo. So probably not the funnest prop to bet on. But this could be a first half cash if he starts off really hot from deep.
Yeah, not fun for some, but fun for guys like us that are rooting for somebody like Lonzo, who I still think has a ton of upside and a strong future in the NBA. I think he will play aggressive. It seems like nobody is hungrier to play basketball right now. I mean, especially when you're that young, waiting that long to get back into the game. When he was playing, I mean, for the Pelicans, he was playing at such a high level before his
Oh, yeah.
injury. Like, just, I don't even know how he's 25 years old. Um, Either way, Lonzo age. Yeah, he's 26. So being basically out for 2 seasons, I think he's hungry to play, and every minute is going to feel like 3 minutes with him on the floor offensively and defensively. So I love that. I will be taking his plays all year. Him and Josh Giddey are my 2 guys on the Bulls that I will be watching closely. No Giddey. Um, all right. That was unnecessary. All right. Well, is there anything else before I let you go and before I maybe call out a couple more of these chats? Was there anything else that you wanted to give out, whether it's lean wise, plays, or just perspectives on any of these games?
Ooh, You see, I think the one play I wanted to point out that I haven't seen many people talk about, and again, it's really dependent on if he starts tonight, but Brandon Pojemski at 9 points is really low if he starts. I mean, he's a guy that can do it all. His PA is at 12 and a half. When he started at shooting guard in the one preseason game, he had 8 assists. So I know that he wants to pick up a lot of that ball handling duty and let Steph be Steph. And that's a quote directly from himself. So really sneaky play if he ends up starting tonight.
Yeah. Okay. I just wrote that in my notes. When do you think they're making that announcement? I really hope this year isn't the wait until 5 minutes prior to the game or whatever window the NBA is making them do it now. Do you think we're going to get some earlier announcements, or is it just going to be the same and maybe even worse?
I mean, I think we're gonna get earlier stuff. Right before the stream went on, Shams announced that the Sixers are gonna the NBA is gonna investigate the Sixers for Joel Embiid and his participation with basketball activities lately. So the fact that they're making that effort to, dive into it a little bit more, I think is gonna be huge in terms of getting news. I know last year it was so inconsistent. Like some teams would announce their starting lineups in the really early morning. And then I think a couple times last season, we wouldn't even get the starting lineup until after the game's already locked on major betting sites, which is horrible, you know?
I mean,
So,
they lost so much money, whether it was ticket sales, TV ratings. I think you're correct that the NBA is just like, hey, like we get it. You're trying to have a strategic advantage over your opponent by not announcing too soon, but like we're losing money, and you guys got to let us know what the deal is. So I
exactly.
hope that's the case. I mean, Adam Silver's made a lot of right moves, so I will bet on him making the right move again here. Um, but yeah, we'll see. Who knows? Hopefully, it's not like Christian McCaffrey where they're like game time decision. Wait, never mind. He's out for 8 weeks. Like
I know that's
so.
ridiculous.
That oh my God, took him first overall in 3 drafts. Doesn't matter. You guys don't care. But let's hope the NBA does a little bit better job with holding teams accountable to that stuff. But we'll see. Who knows? Anything else you want to call out for tonight? I know we got Chili coming on here in a couple minutes, but is there anything else you want to give to the chat that you see right now?
Yeah, I think I'll just answer some questions from chat until Chili hops on, and then
Yeah,
after that, I'm gonna be hopping off. But let
let's
me read
go.
some chat stuff. Let's see. Someone said Claxton rebounds and no De'Aaron Sharp. Not a bad move, but Claxton's going to be limited to start the season. He didn't play any preseason games, and he has a bad hamstring, so don't expect a lot of minutes from him. Let's see. Ayo Dosanmu rebounds and assists at 4.5. Not too bad. It's going to be one of him or Lonzo coming off the bench and soaking up that ball handling usage. I'm going to lean towards Lonzo here, but if you like Ayo, go ahead and run him. What else we got? Somebody said Marcus Smart turnovers. I don't really like betting turnovers too much. Cade Cunningham rebounds and assists. Don't mind that. Pacers don't really allow a lot of assists in general. Rick Carlisle likes to play a defense that prevents a lot of driving kicks. So, not a huge fan of that one. Anything else you see, Alex?
No, honestly, I gave mine out. Terrence Mann, you talked me out of, so that one I'm not as confident anymore. But no, I think that's it. And now we have
The GOAT.
another guest on here, the legendary
The
Chili
GOAT.
Betts.
What up? How we
We're
doing?
going coast to coast right now. We're Cali to Philly. This is great.
He's way up.
Well, Racha, it's been a blast, man. I appreciate you as always. You're sharp as hell. Sriracha's DubClub is right underneath the stream. Racha, do you have any parting words for the chat?
I don't think I got too much except for Alonzo Ball over 5 points. Might be my sneaky $500 play today.
I'm telling. I'm literally in the Lonzo gear. Shout out LeVar. Shout out the whole team. Racha, you're the man. Thank you so much for hopping on, dude. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And if you guys aren't subbed to my Dub Club, you better be subbed to Chili's because, I mean, he's the GOAT. So it's
Yeah.
in. All right, fellas. Have a good one.
Two goats. See you, Racha. Chili Betts. What's up, dude? How are you?
Good, dog. Is there a like a tweet link or something? I'm gonna.
I just tweeted it at you. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Let me post
Yep.
it out there. All right, yeah, let's do it.
And if you're in here right now, I'm dropping a free trial for Chili Bets right underneath the tweet. Hop into his cord. If you don't know who Chili is, you're just not probably on gambling Twitter. So this is the time of the year, man. This is it. We have every sport going on. Sports Equinox is officially October 28th, but for now, we have NBA and NFL, which for I know me and you is more
That's
than
all I
enough.
care
So
about, honestly. MLB,
yeah.
I try and hang, but it's just not my thing.
No, MLB postseason for me is not a betting opportunity. That's just to watch
So fun.
postseason baseball
Couldn't agree more.
and just enjoy it with these matchups. I'm sorry for your Phillies, obviously. That was a tough out.
They had no chance, honestly.
Yeah.
Vibes were just low. Like the years they made runs, like the vibes were high. People were dancing after fucking wins. It's just wasn't there.
No, Philly's definitely a city of vibes. Hopefully the Eagles can turn it around. Flyers might be your best bet, although I don't even know. I don't even know anything about the Flyers. We'll see.
I'm pretty sure they're ass.
Sixers better get healthy. Hopefully it's not another year of Philly teams that are talented and don't make a run, but we'll see. We'll actually be over in Philly here in a couple weeks, so we'll have to.
Yeah, I got that text from Lou. That's dope. Or Dash, whoever it was.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We're gonna do some cool stuff. But I mean, we're here, dude. We got a 10-game slate. Now, I just went through every game with Sriracha, but I want to know how you wanted to do it. Did you want to go game by game? Did you want to hop around and look at some stuff that you're really into? How do you want to do this thing?
Yeah, what are we even doing? I don't know what we're doing. I'll go game by game. Kind of look.
Let's go game by game. All right. And guys, while you're in here, drop your plays in the chat. We'll go over them at the end. If there's anything that we really like, maybe we'll tail it. But honestly, what Chili says in this live stream is probably what I'm going to be tailing. So, all right, dude, just even seeing this whole slate is like so refreshing. I'm not burnt out on football. I've just been getting my ass.
I'm not either.
So.
I haven't been putting out like massive straight cards in a while. And I'm back to doing it finally, which is just great.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now these multi-sport parlays, like this is the time where I think there's just so much value on the board, and there's, the NFL is so sharp. Especially, I mean, every year they get sharper, but this year with props, it's felt like they've definitely taken a step up. So hopefully we can find some more value in the NBA. First game though, Indiana at Detroit. The Pacers are a 5-point favorite. Total sitting at 235. I believe that's the highest total of the night. It is.
Sounds right.
Do you see anything in this game?
The problem is you put bets out there early and a lot of lines move. I took Cade.
Which is why you subscribe to the DubClub, by the way, so you can get that early value.
This morning I put out Cade under 8.5 assists. The line's 7.5 now. Even if you scroll down and alt it, I think it's still probably like minus 170. So maybe find a gimme prop with it. I didn't do that, but I don't know. Let me see what I wrote up. 9 assists and 21 of 62 last year. Obviously, it's a high total, fast-paced game. Let's see. He was under 7.5 3 times. He was 3-1 last year against the Pacers covering it. I don't know. I just think they get Ivy more in the mix. Jaden Ivey, like he's a young guy. He's gonna get more in the mix. 9's just high.
Yeah, I agree with you. They have to get Jaden Ivey in the mix. Jaden Ivey's been, I wouldn't say a letdown, but like just what he did at Purdue, I think the expectations were a lot higher.
He's been finding a corner when I think he's more than that.
Yeah.
And then I thought about taking Halliburton assists, but instead I made a fun play since I already got Cade. I have Cade under assists. You can do stat leader props, and you can actually do a stat leader parlay. So I took Halliburton most assists, Jalen Duren most rebounds, and Cade most points. So all three need to hit, and it's plus 490, which is pretty solid, honestly, because they're all clear.
That's pretty good for three guys that are pretty dominant in those statistical categories.
There's no way Duren loses. I mean, if he does, I'd be shocked.
It'd be injury, like literally, or blowout.
Duren has shitty ankles too. That's the problem. But I can't see Halliburton losing either. So it kind of just comes down to Cade. He needs to score the ball.
Which is why they have him. I mean,
it's
I could see it very possibly.
And then I put out there, they only had like they didn't have that many players listed for it. So like if Cade loses to a guy like Benedict Mathurin, Mathurin wasn't listed for most points. So if I hit on the rebounds and assists, but somehow Mathurin's the highest scorer, I think we'd either get a partial cash or it'd just be a void, which is nice. So like, they didn't list that many players, so it's kind of
Yeah.
minimum downside, minimum upside. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that can either be scary or reassuring, depending on how you
It's
look.
reassuring,
Sometimes,
'cause I had a bet
yeah,
last year. I had Amon Ra most receiving yards, and he lost to Josh Reynolds or something. But Josh Reynolds wasn't posted, so they paid it out. I was like,
of course.
dude, let's fucking go.
Of course. That's crazy. I hope that they
Yeah,
continue to actually like honor those.
yeah,
We'll
you
see
gotta
though.
check
But
it
yeah,
out.
I actually really like that. We also Dylan have DubClub cover everyone's first month in Chili's. We're not going to cover the first month, but he does have a 3-day free trial right underneath the tweet. So the
Word.
next 3 days, there's a lot of sports going, a lot of action. So
Where are you
next 3 days,
seeing
you
the
could
chat?
just cover your first month.
I gotta check out the chat. I got that shit.
And then cool. All right, and then next, your Sixers. This should have been the game of the night, but shockingly, Joel Embiid is hurt, and shockingly, Paul George is hurt. Paul George with the zestiest injury of all time. I don't know if you saw what, what
Yeah,
happened.
it's yeah.
That was crazy. Poor guy. I mean, he's had some gross injuries. That ankle that he had in international play a couple years
It
ago
was a
was
knee. I think it was ACL,
gross.
wasn't it? It was fucking
I
horrible.
think he snapped his ankle,
Is
and
that
then
what
he
it was?
also hurt his knee at some point. But he's had some bad injuries in
Yeah.
the past. But it was his knee this time, like a couple weeks
Yeah, this
ago.
was just like a
Um,
hyperextended knee. Kind of looked like
yeah, I don't think any ligament damage or anything. It says he's on a normal timeline. So this should have been game of the night. Giannis is still questionable. I don't know if you've seen anything, if he's playing for sure.
it's those superstars always fucking getting listed as questionable. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we were talking about before you hopped on. Was like, is the NBA, because Shams put out that tweet that the Sixers are being investigated for
yeah.
like their communication about players or something. I don't know.
I mean,
Hopefully, we don't have a repeat of.
he's playing 20 minutes a game over in the Olympics, and now he's fucking missing the first game. And you're like, come on, bro. I got Drummond
Typical.
in my fantasy league, so I'm not mad about it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think I've seen the whole world on him tonight, but I don't even care. I think he has a big
Oh,
night.
dude, the world's right. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
double in every start last year, every single start. Wasn't that many of them, but
Angel Reese of the NBA. Yeah, he's gonna get
might
after
be
it for
better.
sure.
Might be better field goal percentage, I think.
Maybe a little bit better. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think I have a better field goal percentage than her. But the Bucks are a 4-point favorite. The total's sitting at 222.5. Is there anything else you're looking at this game? Are you looking at Drummond props? Like, what are you on tonight?
I took Drummond double in like a builder play. I kind of forget what I put with it.
It was like minus 210, right?
Yeah, I put
Last time I
something with
saw.
him. He has a double in 11 out of 12 games where he has 24 or more minutes. That was last year. I mean, he should easily be over 30 unless he's hacking away. So I don't see any way he doesn't get a double.
Any game Joel Embiid does not play, I will be
That's
taking
what I'm
his
saying.
double
It's
pair for
just a
someone
smash
else.
every time.
Yep.
I took Duran in a play as well for a double from the last game. That was
Nice.
pretty much it. I didn't take much.
It looks like they're starting to offer Giannis props again. They had him earlier in the day, then they took him down, and now they're back. So it looks like he might be playing. The line still hasn't moved from 4, so I assume they knew the whole time he was actually playing. Otherwise, that line would have moved one way or another.
I almost think they should be bigger than 4 though, without fucking.
I was shocked. It was 3 as well, like earlier. So I don't really understand that line.
Then again, he is playing a shitty Sixers team, so there is kind of some logic difference.
Yeah.
He'll play first game of the year.
I when Giannis was up earlier today, I took his double with Bucks money line. That brought me to like even money. I think his double was like minus 390 or something like that, and then their money line now is minus 168. I mean, if he plays, it's a double. Like, let's be real.
100%. He sold me.
That's a smash.
Last year. I would put him as like an easy builder leg. At least I thought it was an easy builder leg for 10 boards, and every now and then he'll finish with like fucking 9.
Yeah, no such thing. All right, cool. Well, the next game, weird game. The Raptors roster, I don't even know what to think about. I think Grady Dick might have a good spot here, but the Cavs are up at Toronto, 6.5-point favorites, total sitting at 225.5. Are you taking anything in this?
Did I take anything in that? Dude, there's so many unknowns with the Raptors. Like, Quickly can, like, rebound. Well, RJ is out, so that's actually nice. Quickly's weird. Like, he can pop off for, like, a triple-double sometimes. And then he can just finish with, like, 21 and 1. So he's just, like, a guy I'd stay away from. And then Scotty Barnes RA is, like, I feel like always a good bet. He finished, like, 8 and 8 every time. I don't think I took anything specifically in this, though. Granted, I still am looking at shit. Dean was texting me to bet on something Scotty Barnes related. I forget what he said, but he's all over.
I'm high on Scotty Barnes. I've always been impressed by him. I think he's just when he's high motor. The thing is his consistency. Sometimes you just see it's a day that he stayed up all night playing video games. Like you can just see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
But I like Scotty. I think he can run the floor, and I think he might be a double machine this year. I think he might actually get up there.
I could see it.
Yeah.
He'll do it with assists and rebounds. Like
Right. Yeah. Leave the points at home. Yeah. Maybe some triple-double sprinkle on certain matchups. We'll see.
Yeah.
Especially if that lineup stays weird.
Just too many unknowns, and the Cavs are just good defensively. Like I kind of hate betting. Like that Cavs Magic series in the playoffs last year. That shit was horrible to bet on. So
yeah.
I'm good off of that.
Yeah. No, I see it. I mean, another potentially gross game, depending on what kind of basketball you like to watch. The Nets are in Atlanta. Atlanta's a 6.5 point favorite. The total's at 223. You see anything in this game? Two very new rosters as well. A lot of movement on both of these teams.
Yeah. I'm still looking at shit. I don't think I had anything in that yet. Let me just see though. All I know is I saw people betting on Ben Simmons' most improved player, and I think it's the worst bet I've ever seen. Couldn't think of a worse possible bet. He was an all-star at one point. It's physically impossible for him to improve from where he was. I don't know why. Every year
for him to improve, it would be to play basketball. So yeah, how do you even grade that?
Every single season, I'm like, this is worth. I see somebody like this is worth a sprinkle. It's like Ben Simmons most improved plus 10,000. I'm like, FanDuel is licking their lips over that one.
yeah. I bet it's worth a sprinkle. Yeah, go ahead.
He was an all-star. How's he going to improve from that? He's the most regressed player. But no, I don't have anything in that game.
Good. I'm not watching that game. I'm not touching it. No bets there. Sriracha said earlier they might be limiting Clint Capella's minutes, which would shock me because I think other than Trae Young being able to shoot from outside, his game is the pick and roll. He's incredible in the pick and roll. So if they take a guy like Clint Capella and limit his minutes,
have like so many big bodies that like somebody told me to bet Clint Capella double-double, but like Jalen Johnson can get 12 rebounds. I think Onyeka Okongwu is a beast. He doesn't really play, but I think he's good.
Yeah.
Pass the ball.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of like a shitty version of Mobley. I know they were both USC, but maybe that's why I'm saying it. But I don't know. There's just too many guys there.
And no DeJounte now, so we have no clue what this team is going to look like. It's going to be weird.
Yeah, they have that Dyson Daniels guy over there who's kind of similar.
Oh, yeah.
To DeJounte. Obviously, he's like not good. But,
Walmart version.
Yeah, that's like his play style. He gets rebounds, he gets assists. He's like a 6'7" guard. He can't really shoot though. But yeah, there's just too many unknowns with a lot of these games today.
Yeah, there's definitely some spots where it's like I think I'm gonna love that in 10 games. Like I'm not gonna touch it for a little while here. Yeah. Who am I kidding? I'm gonna wait 10 games.
Once we know the minutes, I think we're good.
Yeah, just give me some tape. Next game, I love. There's so many spots in this game. Charlotte goes to Houston. Houston is an 8-point favorite. The total is sitting at 229.5. I think this is a game with a ton of spots. Are you taking anything in this one?
Yeah. So I thought about dabbling on some Jabari Smith props, just because like he's been so bad, but like I think he's a good player. I think it just hasn't come yet. I took Jalen Green under rebounds. Sorry to have a bunch of unders today, guys, but under 5.5. They're so deep. Jabari Smith can get 10 boards, Sengun can get 10 boards. Cam Whitmore can get 10 boards off the bench. Like Tari Eason can get 10 boards off the bench. They have so many big bodies and they're so deep. I just think Jalen Green's like 6'5" shooting guard. I don't know, 6 boards just feels like a lot. And they're playing Charlotte. I didn't take any Charlotte props, but anything Miles Bridges related kind of just looks good to me.
Yeah. You looking at anything with Sengun?
Dude, he like his double is like a ripoff every single year. Like every night, he low key like doesn't get 10 boards all the time, and people bet his double. I just don't think you're making money doing that. Why'd you take him
I
with
think
him?
I I said it earlier. I think this is the year because they just paid him. They just
Yeah,
basically said, "Hey, Sengun, like you're the guy." Watching him in preseason and watching some of his, just the way, like the way he carries himself is a little bit different now. I think there were times where he just didn't have the confidence,
yeah.
where it was like, "I'm not meant to have the ball in my hands right now." Honestly, I think he might be hitting double doubles this year,
He's
potentially off some assists.
he's a
I
good.
think,
Yeah, oh yeah, he'd get triple double too, and he could rebound. I was just betting more so on the guys around him are just good rebounders like Jabari Smith,
yeah.
but it is a dream matchup. I mean, Hornets. I don't know who the fuck they're starting at center. Nick Richards maybe. That Mark Williams.
If we don't know, that's
Yeah,
the
that's what
answer.
I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's a dream matchup, so I wouldn't be shocked if Sengun goes for 30 and 15. Honestly.
I sprinkled on his triple double. I'll probably
Love
get
it.
hurt. It was plus 3,100. I was like, like he just got paid and he looks more confident than he's ever looked. So when those things happen to me, that's a spot where somebody's like, they've given him the green light for
Right.
that kind of usage, and then mentally for him, it's like, okay, now I get to play my game, and just
Listen,
sit there like Jokic looking over
yeah,
everybody
he's
and
like
then
Jokic
dishing.
Sabonis. Listen, I woke up, I saw his assist line. I think it was like 4.5, maybe. Maybe it was three and a
Hmm.
half, and I was just shocked by it. He Loki has a low floor from assists, but his ceiling is also 15 assists. So he's
Yeah.
always a good alt guy to me.
I've got him over 13 and a half rebounds and assists. I thought that was his of all those plays that I took. I took his double double as well, but that is it. I put 2 units on that one. I love that. I
I
think
like that a
I think
lot.
he might clear it with both.
He's
Um,
Charlotte, like
yeah, they were what 27th against centers last year and rebounding
I,
last year or something
I'm
like
surprised they
something
weren't
just
30th. I guess
yeah
Washington was probably pretty. Dallas and Washington,
yeah.
probably
Um,
matchup.
Yeah, we got three more games here. Memphis at Utah is a weird game. Another one with like a bunch of injuries, and I just don't really know what to expect. But the Grizzlies are a 2-point favorite. The total's sitting at 229 and a half. Are you touching this game at all?
I don't have anything yet, but I'm really tempted to bet on Walker Kessler PR. I just think he's due for some sort of bounce back. He was so bad last year. Now he's for sure he's starting lineup tonight. I will say Edie kind of babied him. They played each other summer league or preseason, I forget, and Edie went for like 20 and 15 or something. Um, I don't know. It's 16 and a half PR. It just felt low to me. I'm probably gonna end up doing it, and then
Yeah.
I'm not touching Edie props, but he's another good alt guy. Like he could get 20 and 15. I don't trust him enough to take the 8.5, but like if he gets 20 and 15, I wouldn't be shocked.
I'm looking at 80 assists. I saw a couple people in the chat say that earlier. In the preseason, he was looking to dish the ball. He
Yeah,
was doing what I just said with Sangoon of kind of keeping his eyes high.
first up,
And
yeah,
a guy like that who's had the label of he's not going to translate to the NBA. I think he's adding that extra dimension to his game to show, hey, like I am versatile. I am going to add value. And honestly, I was impressed by him in summer league and preseason. So I
one
might be
and a half.
taking his
It's one and a
fantasy
half. Or
score.
is it higher?
I think. Let me check real quick.
Oh, damn it. I don't have on FanDuel. Yeah, that would be a fun. I mean, he's for sure like gonna get doubled down low. I think. Just so goddamn big.
Probably. But that makes me like his assists.
Kick out the
Honestly,
double.
that makes
That's
me.
what I'm saying. Kick out the double.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Double. That's fucking. That's a
Mhm.
good bet. Um,
Where?
I
Oh,
think
he's
I
not even
put.
popping up on my FanDuel anymore. FanDuel, are you in the chat right now?
We're
Are you
scared of him.
scared?
Scared of him. I took Sexton under 6.5 assists. Um, he's just never been that guy. He's just not a scorer. He's never averaged like over 4 in a season. I know he has a big role, but I don't know. Just felt good to me. Um, nothing else in that one yet. I'm still somewhat
The game feels weird. Too many injuries for me.
yeah.
Weird lineups. Next game, I guess, also has some injuries. The Warriors, Blazers. Warriors are a 6.5-point favorite on the road. The total is 221 and a half. This Warriors lineup, Sriracha and I were talking about it earlier. Like, we have no clue who's going to be starting and getting volume minutes for that Warriors team. Are you on anything in this?
Pods is starting, and I fucking love Podziemski. I think he's so good, like as a player. And I was just saying to Dean, I was like, the only person in the world that likes Podziemski more than me is Steve Kerr. Like he's like obsessed with him. And he's an RA machine. So like I don't know. I bet him 8.5 RA. I just think he's good for 12, 7, and 3. I would take 9.5 probably. So I bet over RA on him. They're playing Portland, right?
Yep.
I was gonna bet 8 and double, but Klinigan scares me. Klinigan's like better than DeAndre Ayton probably. So.
Is Wiggins gonna start? I saw some stuff that he might not be starting, but I still kind of like this matchup for him regardless.
So it's Curry, Pods, Kuminga. I think Trace Jackson Davis dude starting. All I know is Curry, Pods, and Draymond, and the other two. Yeah. So you might be right.
Yeah, I don't. That's probably just something I avoid, to be honest. When we and NBA better get better at it. They better announce lineups sooner and injuries sooner. I'm getting kind of sick of it, and it hurts them. It hurts the league. It's not good for ticket sales. Not good for TV ratings. Like it's bad. So they got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Last game, to me, is like, I mean, Suns Clippers. To me, I see this and I think a team that may legitimately finish last or damn near the bottom with the Clippers if they cannot get healthy. And then the Suns, who Sriracha and I were talking earlier, got some of the depth that they really needed last year in the postseason because they were just clearly beat up and not made for it. But they have Monte Morris coming off the bench who would be starting on, over half the league. They've got some depth now. They're only a 5-point favorite, which felt low to me. I don't really know why that line is like that. But they're on the road at LA. The total is 224.5. Are you taking anything in this one?
Yeah, I took Tyus Jones assists. I think everyone in the world is on him. I think I took 6, and I put like another prop with him. I kind of forget what it was. It might have been like Scoot Henderson points or something. I'm just happy the Suns finally have a point guard. Honestly, their lineup was a disgrace last year. Beal and Booker would like take turns like trying to be a point guard. Like they're just not point guards. I don't know. I still think their lineup's kind of shit though. Like Tyus, Booker, Beal. It's just too many guards. I don't know. And then Nurkic is like
too many ball dominant guys. You think it's just gonna?
It just doesn't work. Like I'd rather have like a 3-and-D guy over Beal. I don't know why they went for him.
I mean, he could turn into that. I feel like he has to make a pivot now, and that might be because, he's
like 6'3".
I mean, he's just
shooting guard. Like, what are we doing here? It
was weird.
Terrence Mann rebounds.
No, I'm on Terrence. No, he's on KPJ. He's very high on KPJ. Kevin Porter.
Beast. He's just like a.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, so and he talked me out of it. I was on Terrence Mann 10+ points tonight, and he talked me out of it. He was like, I think KPJ is going to take a lot of his minutes, so I might actually sprinkle on him instead.
He just might get suspended mid-game or something, doing some crazy shit.
We like the edge. That's fine. I'll take that risk.
No, listen.
Do you get voided if a guy gets booted? I don't think so.
No, you're beat.
Yeah. Who am I? Benefit of the doubt. What are we kidding?
Yeah, I got fucked by Debo the other day in NFL. Brutal. Played like
they didn't void that with his.
Debo and Jordan Whittington both played like one snap, and they had like illnesses. Like, fuck off, man.
Yeah, and then Debo went to the hospital with fluid in his lungs. It's like you didn't know that. You didn't know something was up prior to the game, and you just still played him. I don't know, something fishy. FanDuel, if you're in here, just be a little bit nicer to us so we keep using FanDuel. That's all we ask. All right, well, that's all the games. Is there anything that you want to give to the chat before I let you go? Any plays that you're really looking at that you love that aren't exclusive to the cord?
I didn't do much yet as far as parlays, but I took that stat leader. This is going to be a mouthful to say, but that stat leader prop that I mentioned, I parlayed it with another stat leader, and it's plus 6,400. So it's like $12 for 1,000.
Okay.
So the one I said earlier, it's Cade. So you go to FanDuel and you go to stat leaders and you go to the bottom. It's like stat leader parlays. It's actually just the two favorites, but I love them. Cade, most points. Duren, most rebounds. Halliburton, most assists. And then the Warriors game, Curry most points, Ayton most rebounds. And then I was scared of the assists. They could really go either way, but I took Draymond. So it's just those two together, and it's plus 6,400. It's a lot that needs to
Did
happen.
you tweet that out yet, or are you going to tweet that
Yeah, I
out?
should probably send you a pic or something. It's a lot.
Yeah, drop the link. As you know, if you tweet it out, it's just going to be everyone in your replies saying link, link, link.
Yeah.
You do a pretty good job of that. But we also got Swifty on here. Chili, I know you got to bounce here soon. You got a lot of games to cover. But guys, Chili's free trial is right underneath the broadcast. Hop in there. It's 3-day free trial. Ton of games in the next 3 days. NBA is back. You've all seen what Chili can do in the NBA. It's insane. So, Chili, I really appreciate it, dude. I'm sure we'll have you on very soon. And go Birds, as always.
All right, go Birds. See you, brother.
See you, dude. Swifty, what's up, brother?
How you doing?
Good. How are you, man? I miss you already.
I know, right? You looking good? Hey.
Hey, NBA is back, dude. I got new energy. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling loose. You know how it goes.
Yes,
I'm gonna
sir.
I'm gonna tweet at you right now, Swift do the picks, and then I'm gonna drop your DubClub right underneath this chat. How'd the weekend go for you
It's
guys?
good, man. Weekend went sick. Flames. Weekend was good. NFL was good. We hit a lot of anytime TD props. It's literally back-to-back weeks, bro. Anytime TDs are literally saving the week after week. And it's like 20 units week 5, 8 units last week. It's like climbing and climbing. Remember when we came in, we were up like 26 units. That was insane.
And it's crazy to be able to do that too when they've just tanked anytime touchdown odds. Like if you would have been doing what you're doing right now 2 years ago, we would be talking triple digit units right now, just the way that the odds used to go. Very impressive to be doing it when you can't find a running back in plus odds to score now at this point.
We had a 5-leg anytime TD. The last leg was Derrick Henry. And if you saw the touchdown, like it was so sweaty.
Yep. Should not have happened, and a receiving touchdown. Insane.
Out of all the legs, he was like minus 200, and everybody else was like plus 140, plus 110.
And he had those big runs too, where you're like, "Oh yes, he's got it. He's gonna score," and then he gets hawked, and then an unnecessary score where Lamar just dumps it off to him because the whole defense shifted over, and then he scores a receiving touchdown. It's like, okay, I guess catch it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But we can talk NFL all day, but this is now for a guy like me and you, this is one of the best times, if not the best time of the year, where we have all these sports going, and we look at a slate on our apps and look at NBA where there's 10 games, million props, size and totals. Swifty, I don't know how you want to do this. Do you want to go game by game, or do you want to pick out some things specifically that you really like? You tell me.
I mean, we can go like a couple of matchups, and then just like take it from there. You want to like go back to back on which games we can go through?
Yeah. What you tell me a couple games, or you maybe give the games and I'll tee it up for you.
All right,
because I know you like to pick your spots.
Yeah, obviously. I think I like the Pacers game. It's definitely up pace. Indiana -5. Low key, bro. Detroit might steal this one. I don't know what it is, but Tobias Harris, I think Tim Hardaway was a game time decision, but it don't matter. He's gonna go for 10 as usual. Kate Cunningham should have a good game today. The line is high for him though at 24.5. I stayed away just because they have him placed exactly where I want it to be. I would take him at 23.5 if you want to buy a point, but 24.5 is just a little bit too high. I like Jalen Durham for a double-double. Low-key Tobias Harris might be like the dark horse where he was like 4 years ago in Philly or like 3 years ago. Like 5.5 rebounds, feeling really low right now for him. I might double down on that pick for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like Detroit too. I like Detroit too, honestly. Like that it feels like they have to take a step up, and if they can utilize Jaden Ivey a little bit better, it feels like that roster is actually like pretty complete.
Yeah, for sure. We also got Malik Beasley off the bench too. Don't forget Isaiah Stewart and Simone Fontecchio, baby, coming in hot. They made some decent pickups, and then Sasser, the rookie, obviously. So like, they have a good 8-man swing. Obviously not the best as Detroit. Like let's be honest, right? It's like the worst team in the league, but I think it's gonna be fun to watch. If you're a Detroit fan, you got something to look forward to as a Pistons fan, man, for sure.
They can only go up. I mean, they can't get worse. I mean, we'll see, but I don't think they can get worse. It'd be very difficult.
For sure. Hallie's priced high already. He got bumped a few times.
Yeah.
I have Miles Turner at 1.5 threes earlier today. I think it's at 2 now. So that was another little pick. Nimhard, I took him for the ladder challenge. So I took him for half a 3-pointer. And I already forgot who my second pick was. But we did a 2-pick, like 10 to 10K. We're starting day one. See how that goes.
You're on day one today?
Yeah, day one today. Let me see who I got. I had Nimhard and somebody else on the ladder.
Did you give that out? Did you post that for free, or is that a DubClub
Yeah,
exclusive?
we posted it on TikTok.
Nice.
And Ayo Dosumo, baby, my boy from Chicago.
Yeah, shout out Ayo. I was a dog, man. He's very talented. The problem with them is I feel like they just have so many guards. Like you look at Giddey, you look at Lonzo, you look at Ayo. Ayo can be pretty versatile, but that's just I think it's gonna be a tough team to handicap this year. I just don't know what their rotations are gonna look like and what kind of pace they play at.
I mean, honestly, for like my thought process on it, it's all gonna come down to how they play Josh Giddey.
Mm-hmm.
It's really going to be the key to that Bulls offense. Obviously, in OKC, he was being played incorrectly. Like you saw when he was out there for 18 minutes, he's giving you 10 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists in 18 minutes, which is cool. It's like a video game number in a way, but I'm hopeful the Bulls will give him a little more freedom and playing time. Maybe that way, because they have Kobe starting at the 2 today, I believe. I think White's starting at the 2, and Giddey's going to play point guard.
Hey, Giddey might be a double-double machine this year. He was obviously on such a talented roster in OKC that when he had his moments, he stepped up and looked very good. And I think he might. I like his double-doubles this year. If he gets the right kind of usage, like you're saying, he's always delivered. And I think he gets a bad rap because he's a very good player and super versatile. So
yeah, I hear you. I like that matchup today, though. If Zion doesn't play, I'm targeting Herbert Jones. They have him starting at center today, projected. So there's no Trey Murphy, no Zion, and no Valanciunas potentially. Well, obviously Valanciunas got traded. So his line at rebounds is 4. I just don't see him. If he's going to be starting at the 5, he has to grab the boards. If he's starting at the 2, 3, 4 and playing perimeter against Patrick Williams, I get it. But against Vucevic, it's going to be in the paint type situations 80% of the time. So I think 4 rebounds for Herbert Jones, if no Zion, might be a steal. If Zion plays, I think Zion's at 6.5. Take that too. He's going to probably have a double-double tonight. You know how big body Zion goes to the paint.
Yeah. Yeah, he only has 1 speed, and it's 100%. If he's on the floor, it's either he's literally 0 to 100. There's no in between with him, which might be some of the reason he's so inconsistent. But I like that. That's probably a game I live bet. I think I'm going to be watching that game closely and looking for those spots, especially on a live prop market, because I think you're right. Just with some of those injuries and some of those rotations, there could be some easy spots. Are you taking anything in this Bucks Sixers game where it's injury gate? Everybody hurt. It looks like Giannis is playing. His props are back up on FanDuel right now. Are you taking anything in this with the 4-point favorites, Milwaukee going in Philly?
Yeah, I took Bobby Portis over 21.5 PRA. I think it's a good play, especially with the blowout potential. And if it's garbage time, you'll probably play most of the third, close to half of the fourth, and then they'll get into 11, 12, 13 rotation players. But I think Bobby Portis 21.5. I don't know what the line is now, but I took it earlier. Did it get bumped?
I saw it at 21.5 earlier too. I haven't looked again, but I'm gonna check.
Yeah, I think it's good, especially if Giannis is not 100%. We'll see a little bit more of Bobby and Brook Lopez too at 4.5 rebounds. If that line's still available, was pretty nice. A lot of people from my team are on Gary Trent Jr. today on his points.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he can give you a couple of threes going off. I low-key like Maxi's points under. Hot take here. Reason why. Every time Maxi has kind of been that number one option on the points. So there's two ways to kind of go about this. When looking at his like three-pointers, he'll probably start chucking up shots from three. He might actually cover his threes and miss on the points because his points was like at 28.5. I feel like it's a little bit high.
Especially if they go down early. If Giannis plays, they could get out to an early lead, and then he's just hucking threes. Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like Jalen Brunson last night with the blowout. He had 15 in the first and then non-existent the rest of the game. So
sorry about your Knicks. That was a tough watch. I mean, the Celtics obviously, when they keep their entire team and they just want to chip, are going to look amazing, and the Knicks have a completely new team. And whoever messed with Mikal Bridges' shot should be in prison.
I'm glad it looks like,
bro. Especially with how long his arms are, he legit looks like an alien. Like I was so upset when I saw a clip in a preseason game. I'm like, he's a good shooter. Why would you touch his shot? But second half, it looked like he went back to his old shot and he started making them. So don't be too worried. The Celtics are just unbelievable, and they have all that chemistry. And Mazzulla is a great coach. So Mazzulla is a great coach. So I'm not shocked that they looked really good. Don't be worried about the Knicks. I still like the Knicks a lot.
Josh Hart was like, somebody got to drug test that whole team, man.
I saw. Yeah.
He's like, what the hell is even that?
What the hell is even that? Yeah, that was crazy, bro. That I hopefully they are not that good all year. That felt like maybe a little bit fluky, but I don't know, man. They looked scary. I just hope everybody in the East stays healthy so they can't have a free reign again.
Yeah.
What other games are you looking at tonight, or what other spots you like that, or maybe some free plays or leans that you have on deck for tonight?
Yeah, I'm low-key liking the Golden State Portland game. So they have them at 221 to go over. Also, Memphis Utah game, I don't know, man. They got them at 229 for the over/under, but it might be one of those like brick type games. You know what I mean? Both teams kind of like Chuck City. I'm just trying to like stay away. Like John Morant's line, I think he had 8 assists and like 24-ish points. Maybe points assist combo. Like he can give you 10, 25 easy. For Portland, I like Scoot. I don't know why his line is so disrespectful. Like the man is covered at like 80% of the time.
They said he might not start. So, and I talked about this earlier with Sriracha. I think that is a move where it's like you have a young star who's very talented, and everybody kind of knew like, hey, yeah, this is your spot. You should be okay with it. I think Chauncey Billups might want to just send a message of like, hey, you are very talented. You are like kind of the next generation for this team, but we need you to be very hungry, and I'm going to have you come off the bench for a couple games so you feel, what this team can really be and stay motivated. But I think he covers those lines. Those lines are disrespectful. If he even gets, decent usage in minutes tonight, easy. Yeah. I love watching him play basketball.
I think, yeah, if he doesn't start, let's say Kamara comes in instead in the starting lineup, or even Jabari, whatever the situation is like. I think Scoot still plays decent with the second unit. Just like upside is much better than the downside. And like, you got to pick your poison here. And when they give you lines like that, I'm taking him all day. Absolutely.
And it might be even a better situation if he's playing with the second unit where he's just ball dominant every possession, and it's like, yeah, shoot your shots, just go for it.
I definitely mess with the PRA. I think we took it last night at 19.5. I believe it was.
Smash.
Yeah, I think it got bumped a couple of points, but still, we'll take that any day. Yeah. I like Podziemski today if he's starting, man. I think he's going to have a nice game. He's like a hustle type player. Like he'll go out and crash the boards, throw some assists, shoot some shots. Great rebounder, probably for a guard. Like really good. I've took him last year a few times. He's covered for me all the time, and he respects Coin.
Yeah, Chili Betts was all over him as well. So if both of you guys are aligned on that. And you mentioned that you grabbed Scoot last night, and it's been bumped a little bit since then. Guys, that's why you subscribe. That's why you join the Cord. That's why you subscribe to his Dub Club. There is a link right underneath the stream for you to get into his Dub Club. There's a reason when you see it 12 hours later, there's not as much value, guys. So tap in with his Dub Club. That is how you secure some of that CLV. Is there anything else that you're looking at for tonight? I mean, we have 10 games. A lot of these lineups are questionable. We still don't have every team announcing who's playing. Some weird spots, but is there anything else that you're eyeing for tonight?
Another weird prop here, Grayson Allen. What's up with them? I mean, on Phoenix, is he coming off the bench? I know he had like the Achilles soreness. Is he playing? We don't know. They have him as a game time decision on the lineup, but I think he's like good to go. Full participant in practice is what I read. But 11.5 PRA for Grayson Allen. Man can give you 8 threes in like 5 minutes, like any game.
Well, speaking of the Suns, let me ask you about that. That's a team that has filled some gaps from last year with, Tyus, with Monte Morris coming off the bench. Do you see them making a run? Are they going to take another step this year, or do you feel like they fall into mediocrity again?
I think they're in a good spot. Like changing up the Chris Paul situation and like getting rid of that. I don't know if it's a plus or minus. I think we'll have to see. Tyus Jones is a decent like 3-point shooter, and he can give you like a couple of assists. I think it's really going to come down to like Book, Beal, and Durant. If they stay healthy, man, and like have a full season without any injuries or setbacks, and they have that chemistry throughout the year, I don't see why they can't like chip away in the West, in the playoffs especially. It's all that's going to come down to just like making sure they're 100%. Like Beal missed 40 games last year, something like that.
Yeah,
I'm sure that affects like the chemistry and like he's coming back and demanding the ball, right? Like people like Booker and Durant, like, yo, who do you think you are? You weren't here for half the season. Like the mindset of a player, especially like a leader of a player, their mindset's a little different than someone like Eric Bledsoe or like, I mean, what did I say, Eric Gordon, whatever.
Great poll.
Yeah.
Eric Bledsoe.
So want to make sure like if they're able to like communicate and cooperate together, bro, they have a good chance. It's all offense. They just need to shoot and like shoot quick. 12-second offense is what I'm calling it for them.
Yeah, ignore the shot clock. Just go. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope so. Yeah, it's kind of do or die right now for them. You obviously made some big moves. Their cap is not looking great, so now is the time. But I do like the roster moves they made in the offseason. Sriracha earlier said, I think it's very Nurkic dependent. He thinks Nurkic will kind of be the difference maker. And then you have Plumlee off the bench now, too. Adds a little bit of depth and size. So this team, that roster looks pretty good. I like them. And then on the other side, the Clippers going from everybody's darling and favorite, when they acquired their version of the Big Three. Now you ship Paul George off. Kawhi, shocker, is hurt. And James Harden will probably be at the strip club or hurt soon anyway. So, and guess who has their first round pick? The Thunder. So if the Clippers have a bad year and get another lottery pick, the Thunder now have acquired another lottery pick, which just an embarrassment of riches for that organization. Are you touching anything in that game tonight?
I was just gonna tell you. Good thing you reminded me. I'm going to go with Norman Powell over 1.5 threes if it's still there. I rolled that shit last year, all year in cash, like 85% of the time. Norman Powell starting lineup is a lock, especially with no Kawhi. He's like very offensive oriented. And they have Derek Jones, Terrence Mann, and Zubac. Like, how many of those guys can really create as good as like Norman Powell or Harden, right? I know, Harden's going to take his shots. He might go 6 for 24 and finish with 19 points. Just watch him finish 21 points today. What's his line? 22, I think, tonight? Watch him finish with 21, bro. I kid you not. This is what Harden does.
22.5 is his line currently.
He's going to finish at 22. And then Norman Powell. I like him today for his points. I know you mentioned Terrence Mann. You kind of like had him and then you took him off, right?
I got scared. They were talking me into KPJ.
Yeah, Kevin Porter is going to be the 6th man. I think Batum might see some minutes if it's a good game because he's defense oriented. So Derek Jones and Batum I see coming in. I'm just kind of like, playing that all around type player because that's what he does. He's like the Al Horford of the Clippers,
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
he does a good job of it. I don't know. Yeah, this game is like the two teams where one has fallen off substantially. The other one actually made some great moves in the offseason. God, the Clippers, what a letdown. I mean, as a Laker fan, I'm all about it. Go Lake Show, best team in LA. So we'll take
Yeah,
that.
yesterday was something legendary for you, man.
Hey, that was a hell of a moment. And, beyond the LeBron stuff, dude, just JJ Redick, man, some of the plays that he drew up, some of those schemes, the way they were utilizing AD, doing some of those like reverse opposite pick and roll stuff, like it might be scary this year. We'll see. If Jared Vanderbilt stays healthy, it's championship season. I'm calling it. What else you got for us tonight? Anything else you're looking at, or is everything else kept for the cord?
I mean, we have. So I did a promo for premium where I think it's NBA 30 and you get 30% off. Is the promo code. So we are dropping every single day like an NBA cheat sheet of like mostly EV picks. And a lot of people like last year gave us feedback. Hey, like make sure you continue to do that because that's what's helping. Like a lot of people want to make their own slips. That's what I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll tell a few of our slips that we have, but most people like to like use the research provided and just make their own slips. So we give them like today we have 21 picks on the board that we hand selected. And I'm curious to see how that goes. Like yesterday we went 8 and 5 out of 13 picks. And obviously, of course, Naz Reid doesn't get one rebound. Dante DiVincenzo doesn't get a point. Like it's all hooks. And like I love to see that. I'd rather take a hook than like I know those picks are down by 5 or 6. Like those are bad picks in my opinion. Right. But
yeah, it was the right read. No, totally.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and there's a reason people have. I've seen some of the slips, that people have cashed in your cord where they're just like, yeah, I took your plays, I mixed and matched, and I came up with this. And you guys deliver a lot of value to your subscribers. There's a reason you have so many people in there. And speaking of which, guys, his link is right underneath this stream. So tap in with his DubClub. These guys are sharp as hell. I met them. Was that last week? That felt like. That feels like so long ago.
2 weeks ago, I think.
2 weeks, maybe. Okay, yeah. But yeah, their team is super sharp on NFL, NBA, and I'm sure some other sports, but those were the only two sports we really discussed. But go follow him on TikTok as well. His TikTok live streams are awesome. I'm always in there getting some free game for fantasy stuff. But Swifty, you got anything else for the people before I let you go here?
I mean, we can drop a 2-man if you want to do that. I'm down.
Let's go. Yes, absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, speaking of the Clippers game, let's go to it. I'll give you Nick Batum over 4 rebounds. I think he's going to go out there and do his usual thing. If he plays 28-plus minutes, it's really what it's going to come down to. I'm going to take Herb Jones, as mentioned, for 4 rebounds. I'll give you a 3-pick. And Bobby Portis Jr., 21.5 PRA.
Bobby Portis, Big Eye Bobby. Let's go, PRA.
I like the upside on all 3 plays, especially with, like I said, in New Orleans, Zion doesn't play. Herb starts at the center. Like, he has to get 4 boards. He doesn't get 4 boards. Man has to be released at this point. Herb, if you're listening. No, I'm just kidding, Herb. Just get us the 4
No, he's
boards.
definitely in the chat right now. Herb's in the chat. He needs this motivation. Don't let us down tonight.
My Frenchman out there. Give him some French fries mid-game. He gets it done for us, baby. And Bobby P doing what he does, crazy eyes, bringing back OG Nick, 21.5, walk in the park. Let's go.
Why not us? Why don't we just sweep? Why don't we just cash real easy, Swifty? Why not?
Why not?
Swifty,
I'm going to post it right now on Twitter, too.
Post it right now. I'll retweet it. Swifty, I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for hopping on. And best of luck tonight. And guys, go subscribe to his DubClub. Let's
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Good luck tonight, Alex.
Absolutely. Yep. Peace. See you, brother. All right, guys, and we're not done yet. We got one more person coming on. We got Profit Props on the way, who just relaunched his DubClub. He's going to be hopping on here shortly. Guys, NBA is back. Like, we just needed this so bad. I mean, I've been getting crushed on the NFL personally. NFL lines have been incredibly sharp, like I talked about with Chile earlier. But NBA is where we can always find value. I've always said, anybody who's been around me can attest to this. Live betting NBA is the most profitable way to bet. It's the most easy way to predict lineups, rotations, minutes, who's in, who's out. I think it's personally just the most fun live bets and easiest to cash if you like watching NBA, if you follow basketball. Also, shout out to my Lakers while I have the stage. Huge dub last night. Anthony Davis, better win Defensive Player of the Year over Gobert this year. If he doesn't, it's fine because I think it just will be because he's scoring too much and having too much offense. But shout out my Lakers. I will not shout out the Celtics. I refuse to acknowledge them. Um, really unfortunate how good they are. It really sucks. Let me check in on profit props here. Drop some plays in the chat for me, guys. Help me fill this space with some plays that you really like. Also, I'll give my plays out too. Um, I'm heavy on Sengun. If you know me, you know I love Sengun, and I think this is his year. So let me text profit props real quick. Oh, it looks like he's in here. There he is. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Good, brother. My fault. I tried to join through the other link and I'm on my phone, so we're gonna try to still make this work. How we look here?
Oh no. No, you look great. No, it's all good here. I'm gonna tweet at you real quick, and then I'm gonna tweet your DubClub link underneath the stream, guys. This is the first time on the stream. You're just relaunching on DubClub, so shout out to you. Welcome back. Welcome back to the green team. We're happy to have you as always. And man, this is your time of the year. Like this is the best time. Sports equinox.
Yep.
All the sports going on right now. Let me tweet this link at you real quick.
I did see you're a Lakers fan as well. I'm a Lakers fan, so shout
Hell
out.
yes.
Got the dub last night.
Yes, dude. What a great game of basketball. How fun was that? Just like fun basketball.
Connect looks good, man. Team looks good. I'm pumped.
Steal of the draft.
Facts.
Don't connect. Steal of the draft, baby.
Without a doubt.
Well, yeah, honestly, I think we can spend a couple minutes real quick recapping our Lakers because if you watched the game last night and if you watched the Lakers last year, there was a very clear difference in a couple things. One, energy. You could tell the players wanted to play basketball for JJ Redick last night. And two, scheme. I saw some plays last night. I love basketball. I've played it my whole life. I've watched a lot of basketball, as I'm sure you have too. I saw some plays last night that I've never seen before. Some of these reverse pick and rolls, some of these weird spacing things. I'm like, okay, JJ's going to be in his bag. What did you see last night that we didn't really see much of last year?
I think one thing that's going to be like important to note is the 9-man rotation. You know, Bronny played, I think, a couple minutes. I don't think we see that often. So I think LeBron maybe plays 1 or 2 or 5, maybe fewer games, but I think he played 35 minutes last night. I think he's locked into like that kind of role still for the season. Clear they want to play through AD. I think AD is going to have a big year. I think he's pissed he didn't get Defensive Player of the Year last year. That block he had on AD was awesome.
That was a moment that you could tell he's been thinking about that for a while.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think the Lakers, man, it's one game. I don't want to overreact, but as a fan, like I'm more excited. I think they were 0-6 in their last opening day. So like just starting the season off excited, it was a good feeling.
Yeah, especially after we watched the Celtics have the game that they did. I mean,
29
that was scary. I don't like seeing that. I will be very upset if they repeat. Hopefully the East stays healthy so they don't have a cakewalk like they did last year, but I don't know. We'll see. Well, I went through every game with a couple of the guys, but I want to ask you how you want to go about this. Do you want to go game by game and have you dive into each, or do you have certain spots that you want to pick and choose here and talk about? It's totally up to you.
Yeah, I will just plug my daily stream here. I go live every day at noon. It's called The Sharp Side. So if y'all follow me, you'll be able to see that. I give out most of my plays, anything that came before, and I go through game by game. So I've already done that today. I've seen you've already done that a few times. So I think maybe I'll just tell you the plays I have for today, maybe break them down a little bit. I think I have 8 for us here. So
love it. Let's go. Absolutely.
With the Indiana game, I took Halliburton over 9.5 assists at even money 2 days ago. So Yeah, tap into the Dub Club. You'll get better odds than almost everything I'm going to release here today. Still like it at minus 125. Hallie was over this in 6 of 8 versus Detroit over the past 2 seasons. Last season, the only time he didn't go over, he had 9, and that was in like 27 minutes. Even if this game gets into a blowout, I think they're going to focus on kind of their rotations today. So I think Hallie's good for like 32 to 34 minutes. So love the over 9.5, whether it's even money or minus 125. My recommendation here, though, if you can't get the 9.5, I would go double.
Okay. Yeah, and that was a good plug. I think I should address that real quick. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, it's just a little laggy, but that was a great plug, guys. His DubClub link is right underneath the stream here. There's a reason that he's getting better lines than what you're getting right now. There's a lot of time in between him giving out a play and you hearing it right now. But if you're in the DubClub, you can take advantage of that value. You can get it a lot sooner, and you can get ahead of the game and get some of that CLV that he's getting, because somebody like Profit Props is scanning lines all day trying to find new value. And if you don't get it when he does, you're going to miss that value. And if you're new to sports betting, it's already very hard to beat the books. It's a lot harder when you're paying some more juice. So go subscribe to his DubClub. It's right underneath the stream. Give that a try. But yeah, just had to give the plug there, obviously, since you mentioned some of the value there.
Appreciate it. Next play I'll go over is going to be one with massive closing line value. But if I'm going to be honest, I didn't necessarily even mean to get this. I took Bucks plus 3.5. I thought even if Paul George played, even if Embiid played, I thought that was a good line, even without Middleton. So we took that at plus 3.5 and kind of lucked into the injury news. So my pivot there is I still think the money line is too cheap. I think the money line should be closer to minus 200. So if you don't want to lay a 150, maybe parlay this with your next favorite player prop. But yeah, I like the Bucks tonight, whether it was plus 3.5 or you take the money line now. Obviously, with everybody depleted, feels kind of square, but lock that in before the injury news.
Yeah, no, Giannis's props have been up. They got taken off again. Now they're back up. Feels like he's going to play. I think he really wants to play this game. And yeah, I love that. I think regardless of the injury, regardless of the line, I feel like it could turn into a blowout, honestly. Not that I'm giving that out, but I'm just saying. It does feel square, but like,
yeah,
I can't see the other side at all. So who knows? Who knows where we'll be sitting? What else you got for us tonight?
Let's go Bulls plus 6.5 versus the Pelicans. It's 5.5 now. I still like it there. Two teams that have kind of had makeovers. I don't trust the Pelicans make up. Don't know who's running center there. I just kind of trust the Bulls team more. I know we're only probably getting 15 to 16 minutes out of Lonzo. I know everybody was on Kobe White's assists over. I missed it there. I missed the value. So I'm not going to chase that line. If you locked it in when it was over 3.5, I think you got a great play. At 4.5, I'm just here clear. But I love the Bulls plus 6.5 tonight. It's moved a little bit. I still like the 5.5.
Yeah, and honestly, even with that Kobe White play, like their guard situation is going to be really interesting. Who's ball dominant? Who's bringing it up the floor? I personally will be betting a lot of Josh Giddey double-doubles this year. I think Josh Giddey, when he had his opportunities, even on a loaded roster, proved himself in OKC. I think he's going to have a ton of opportunities this year. I'll be watching Josh Giddey a lot. Yeah, it just moved to 5.5. It was 6.5 like 30 minutes ago. So moving in the right direction.
Yep.
We'll see. Do you have any props in that game, or are you just taking the side there?
Bulls game. Let me double check.
Also, DeJounte Murray. We don't know what that team. Who's going to be what? That was a great point that I haven't really considered. They really don't have an identity at all yet.
Yeah, I looked at Brandon Ingram's over early, like Monday, I believe. There was 17.5s out there. That was before the DeJounte Murray personal injury status. So then it bumped to 19.5, 20. I think that's way too high, but I did like it at 17.5. But no plays, no props in that one. I have quite a few props though. The next game, Heat versus Orlando. I have the under of 209. Both teams that play really good defense. This one's trending in my direction. 208.5. That was a great play still. And also have Jalen Suggs under 13.5. Those who tailed me last year, I played this one kind of frequently, especially on the road. Now, I know that's just a quick flight for them from Orlando to Miami. But I had Suggs at like 11.2. Now, these are my last year's projections, but Orlando is one of those teams that didn't make a lot of changes. Same with Miami. So they're kind of where I hold my projections tighter to my chest there. So I just like Suggs under at 13.5. It's got some value. It's at 12.5. I still like it at 12.5. I think he ends up around 10, 11.
I like
do
that
think
a lot. Yeah, that. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think Paolo takes a big step in that offense. I also looked at Franz Wagner's under. Decided to go with Suggs instead, but I think Paolo kind of separates himself from the pack in this offense this year. I think I have him 24, 25 points per game score this season, kind of taking that third-year leap.
Yeah, I mean he's incredible and just doing it so quietly too. Like I can't remember in recent years a star that has gotten less attention for being as good as he's been. He was carrying an awful team to a pretty decent season, all things considered. I love the Magic this year. I made this analogy earlier. This feels like kind of the first year that in the NFL the Lions took a step where they had been a historically bad franchise and then got some good pieces and then took that step. To me, the Magic this year, I think we're going to see a bit of a step up. But this is a game that if you really love basketball, you're going to love this because it is going to be a defensive matchup. It's going to be two teams that just want to hound you. And, they both have some depth in the kind of hungry dog department. So I'm excited for this game. And I think both these teams are going to be good this year. So, yeah, I think this is an early, potentially playoff matchup that we're looking at with these two teams, depending on health. So I like that.
I like what you said too about like if you like basketball, this will be a good game. The Heat have a lot of question marks. That core didn't play many healthy games when you think of Rozier, Hero, Bam, Jimmy, all healthy at the same time. We're getting that, and then with Bam chucked threes in the preseason. So like I want to see what that Bam looks like in the regular season. So yeah, Miami's a very interesting team. Orlando, I think they're just going to see player development there. And I'm really interested to see that player development. So yeah, that's a great game. One of my favorite games on the board.
Same.
My next play would be Darius Garland under 18.5 versus Toronto. I think he was under this in every game last season. I'll double check that real quick. Versus Toronto, that is. And
yeah, this is a weird matchup. We don't know what Toronto, another identity with just injuries and stuff. We don't know what they're going to be.
Yeah, and their coach talked in the beginning of the season about how they're going to focus on their young players. The Garland, I checked on my stream. He's only 25 years old. So I don't think he's one of the stars that are looking at losing minutes at all. But you're right. That team's going to have a lot of question marks. Garland last season under in one of two. He only played Toronto twice last year. But under in 15 of his last 20 to end the season last year. And Donovan Mitchell struggled with injuries. That's going to transition me into my next play. Mitchell had a portion of the season there in the middle where he was always questionable. You didn't know if he was going to be able to go. Once he got through that, you really saw Garland's points per game drop down to 15.8 points per game through the last 20 games last season. So that's why I like transitioning into my next play. I like Donovan Mitchell to go over 4.5 rebounds. I'm on assists, sorry. Yeah, over 4.5 rebounds. There is one book cheaper than where I placed this. So I laid a 110, and FanDuel was at 02. So I do really like it at FanDuel. FanDuel moved kind of against me. I think they were at 112 when I placed this. Every other book's at like 120, 130. So if I were to play it now, I would attack FanDuel. That 102, I think there's a lot of value on. I think Mitchell gets between 5 and 6 here. When he was healthy last year with that starting lineup, playing 30 minutes per game, he averaged about 5.5, and that's the Donovan Mitchell I think we see tonight.
Yeah, he wants to grab the ball and get in transition quickly. So I think game plan-wise, that lines up very well. And, yeah, I mean, I actually really like that play. I haven't even considered it. But, guys, here's your daily reminder to shop odds, okay?
Yeah.
Your daily reminder. It's a great point. I don't think I've mentioned it on this stream, but I try to at some point every day. Shop your odds because I can guarantee you there's a book out there that's offering something better. So that's just another advertisement. Because like I said earlier, finding value with somebody like Profit who you tail and get the plays late, you miss out on some of that value. You can maybe recoup some of it by shopping your odds, or you just subscribe to him and you can get that value immediately. But yeah, I like that Donovan Mitchell play. Honestly, I think his rebound lines are going to go up this year. I think the way
Agreed.
they want to play, I think he's going to sit under the basket, get the ball, and go. So I really like that analysis. Yeah. What else you got for us?
One, I think I was watching the stream earlier. I think Chili Bets was on this one as well. Jalen Green under 5.5 rebounds for Houston. Lock this in at 130. Just same analysis basically as he had. Not only do I feel this line just a little too high based on what we've seen him produce, but that Houston team's so deep. The spread on this game's 8 to 8.5. Sorry. Again, I think it's going to be more about rotations. Even if they blow Charlotte out, I think he plays his full run of minutes. I just think 5.5 was too high. I made his number 4.2. So thought there was a bunch of value on 5.5, and I'll tell everyone in the chat if that line is still available. The 145 at MGM is the closest thing available now. If you're a Prize Picks UFS or DFS player, Prize Picks and underdog are at 5. I like that a lot better than the books at 4.5. So 5.5 at MGM, 5 on underdog or Prize Picks, but I'd steer clear to 4.5 here.
Sorry, just responding to that. Okay, awesome. Yeah, and I appreciate you shopping odds for people. That's just like something that I think some people ignore, and it's like, hey, we went plus 3.5 units last night. It's like, yeah, but like you got better odds than everybody, and they ended up like plus a unit. It's like that's a massive difference long term. So I appreciate that call out. Is there anything else you're eyeing tonight that you want to give the chat here? Okay, let's do it.
And it's Scott. This is my favorite play. I saved this for last. I put 1.5 unit on this. Everything else I bet to win 1 unit. This I have 1.5 unit. This play was a wagon for me last year. Towards the end of the season, at least Scotty Barnes' season, he fractured his hand like the beginning of March last year. But after the All-Star break, even right before the All-Star break, into the end, Scotty was dominant. He averaged like 8.5 rebounds per game, 9.1 rebounds per game in his last 10 games season. I think he kind of filled his role after the Quickly trade. RJ Barrett's out as well tonight, so keep that in mind. But after the Quickly trade, after the Pascal trade, I think he finally found his role, and he's going to be a 9 to 10 rebound per game kind of player this year. So my favorite play on the board, Scotty Barnes, over 7.5 boards.
I love that. That's another guy I'm going to be eyeing down as double-doubles every day.
Yeah.
That's somebody who I think has a lot more confidence and is just like, yeah, it kind of is his team a little bit right now with the RJ injury and some of these trades that have happened. So, he's entering his prime, just an incredibly gifted athlete, just like a monster out there. I think he'll have to take a bigger role this year, and I love his double-doubles. I'm going to be staring that down every single game. I don't know what it's at for tonight. I might have to find that after this, but I love that play. I will be on him a lot this year. Do you see anything from Grady Dick? Because I've seen a bunch of people on him today. Are you looking at anything with him?
Threes, I looked at his 3-pointers over because I was looking at Quickly's assist line, and I was like, man, how did the books get to 8.5? And I'm like, the only guy that I could see really attacking, especially off catch and shoot situations, is going to be Grady Dick. So I think the books think Grady Dick's going to be a good catch and shoot shooter for Toronto this year, going to create space for them. I don't know that I believe that, but that's kind of what I'm guessing from the lines that they've hung here on the first game.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. I just seen so many people on it. I wanted to see if you had taken anything. Well, is any other plays, any other plugs? Like you shouted your stream out. I would love if you could plug it here at the end as well, because that's really where I think, you separate yourself from a lot of people is your streams and how much value you can get out of a free live stream that you do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So it's called The Sharp Side. I have a Twitter page, but also my just Profit Props page here. I go live at noon Eastern every day, and I break down the whole board. So if you join my DubClub, you're going to get the plays generally. Like I'll literally start working about 10 p.m. the night before his lines start coming out. I'll drop a few overnight lines. And then this is what I do full time for a living. So at 8 a.m. the next morning, I'm generally looking at lines again, planning to have everything out by 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern. And then I go live at noon. So everything that I've released, I basically go over. That doesn't mean plays don't come out. Most of my parlays come out after stream, but I'll break down any play you want too. So if you come into the stream, you can request a play and I'll break it down. And I think that's where a lot of people that are already involved in the community appreciate the most. So I think that adds a ton of value, and would love to have anyone on now to come on.
Well, I hope that this season your chat gets so hectic you can't get to everybody's question.
I hope so.
But I know you will do your best to answer everybody, just knowing you. So that's awesome. Yeah, guys, like you heard it here. Obviously, your analysis is a level of depth that you can't get everywhere. And if you're doing it for free on the live stream, just imagine the kind of value you're getting in his DubClub, where you're getting all those plays early, directly to your phone. Can we expect any live bets this season, or are you going to stay away?
Yeah, so I actually go live on playback too fairly often. I'll watch games
Oh,
live.
nice.
I actually bet D'Angelo Russell under 16.5 last night live. We cashed that. So 1-0 on the live this season. Yeah, love live betting. That's another value there that the DubClub gets. I do my best to keep it between quarter or half changes. Sometimes I'll try to squeeze one in, and I'm like, hey, like last night, D'Angelo, by the time a couple of guys got there, they were like, hey, it went to 15. What do I do? And I was like, hey, let's just wait. He comes down, scores a layup. It bumps back up. Everybody gets on it. So I try to stay very active in the chat, and I try to do it between quarters. But if I see something that's too good, I'm just going to fire.
That's awesome. Yeah, I will definitely be in some of those chats. I've been very adamant about NBA live betting being maybe one of the easiest ways to beat a sports book if you pay attention and watch rotations and really learn these teams. To me, it's I think the easiest way to find value on books, especially with how sharp they're getting pregame. So that's another value add would be getting his live plays and jumping on some of those playbacks. Which shout out playback, awesome product. We're going to be
So,
doing some more of those playback streams. Big
yeah,
fan of what they're doing. Well, Prophet, man, I really appreciate you coming on. You're awesome. Welcome back to DubClub. We're very happy to have you. And
appreciate it.
I will definitely be telling you this season. I appreciate you coming on, man.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all having me. Good luck tonight.
Yep. See you, brother. All right, guys. Well, that closes out our NBA portion of this. We are going to be transitioning into lose big winners. We're talking Big Ten football. As excited as I am for NBA, obviously, guys, we're still in the best part of the year, which is October, and it's football. And there's a ton of good Big Ten football. So I'm going to put this on pause. If you're in here right now, go grab a water, go to the bathroom. I think Prophet is frozen right there. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. I'm going to pause this. Don't go anywhere. Take your bathroom break, get your drink. We've got Betting with Bush and Dirty Bubble Bets coming on the stream to talk Big Ten football with Lewis, one of our founders. It's going to be great as always. Lou is unfortunately very sharp, and he will let you know. But give us a minute. We'll be right back.
What's going on, brother?
DBB, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, brother. Everything good over here?
You sound great. Lou is just getting set up. I think Tanner was joining over there. Let me just plug the actual mic in real quick.
Yeah, Tanner might use the wrong link because I used the Google Studio link and I was just sitting in there by myself. So
Hold on. Wait. Sound output. Is this new mic on? Can you hear me?
yep, all good. What up,
There he
brother?
is.
What's up?
How we doing,
Oh,
brother?
wait, now I can't hear you guys with that.
What up?
I
You should be able to hear me.
finally got your hat in the mail.
Can you not hear me?
I can hear.
I can hear you now.
Hey, Alexa, stop. Boom.
Alexa, knock it off.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Stop.
We are live. We are live. The chat is still popping off right now.
Let's go.
We're carrying over. I just was live with a couple different guys for like 2 hours talking NBA. Now it's on to some real sports, though. We're back on football.
I would just like to acknowledge that I tuned into the stream for a little bit before Shire, and the lack of Celtics respect is getting a little crazy.
I did actually, as I was closing out, I saw your acknowledge the Celtics reply. I have to disrespect them. I have to, as a Laker fan. And listen, if I was saying good things about them, it would mean they're not a good basketball team. So I have to be disrespectful because they are so good, and it scares me. So I'm just projecting. You know how it goes.
As a non-Celtic fan, they're winning the championship easily.
It's scary. And they return everybody, and their coach is awesome, and Jason Tatum's taking it personally. Yeah, that's scary. I'm not happy
Until we
about
get
it.
Porzingis back.
I know. I have him on my fantasy team. I need him to get back as soon as possible.
It's probably going to be a slow roll, especially if they're playing like
It's
this.
dynasty there, so we're all right.
DBB, I got some chats that your mic is a little bit low right now. Do you have any other mic or headphones you can use? Says
Or
you're a little
just
bit
get closer
quieter
to your
than,
mic.
or get closer. Yeah.
Maybe I just need to talk a little bit louder.
A little bit louder.
So, yeah.
I don't know
Oh,
if
we
that
lost Lou. Had Lou, lost Lou.
Yeah, my headphones are too short to reach the laptop, so I'll
Ah.
just talk. I'll talk a little bit louder, and if there's any issues, just let me know.
And Tanner, you said I was live when you guys were texting. Did you say you wanted to run a 50% off promo? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. There he is. Lou,
Are
can
we
you hear
live,
us?
gang?
We're live.
We're live.
That's the man right there.
Loud and clear. How's my audio?
Amazing.
Good.
You
I'm
did good work on the
tweeting-
stream getting them warmed up for us. Are we at an insane audience right
We're
now?
at 12K. We're at 12K.
That's
I'm
good.
about
'Cause
to.
betting with Bush doesn't get out of bed for less than 11.
Yeah. I'm glad we could pull through for him. I'm gonna tweet the link out at all you guys right now, so we'll share it and we'll get this thing going.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my 700 monster followers in the chat. Bubble, I'm expecting Bubble Nation to literally take over this stream. You've got the most rabid fan base on all of DubClub, is what I heard.
They're crazy, but I love them.
Hey,
we get
when
him-
I do this, can y'all see me still?
No.
No.
All good. All good. Well, when I need to share the tweet, let me know so I can do that.
I think I actually am getting a surprise appearance from my dad. In the,
Oh my
studio
God.
Today, so shout out Papa Bubble.
The father bubble. That's epic.
He had to see what it's all about now that I quit my day job. You know.
Is he gonna appear on stream or he's gonna be in the chat?
No, he said he's gonna sit on his couch, open a beverage, and see what the stream's all about.
Well, Mr. Bubble, if you're listening, you did a damn fine job raising Dirty Bubble Bets. One of the true good guys. Not only in DubClub, but on God's green earth.
I'll vouch for that too.
I'll vouch for that for Mr. and Mrs. Bush as well. We got two real ones joining us for
Bush is
Perhaps the
man.
most anticipated lose big winner stream ever.
It was long overdue. We've tried to get this a couple times. It just hasn't worked.
I know the chat's excited. Can we hear it in the chat?
Can't even see the chat.
Twitter needs to fix their live streams. They don't make the chat obvious enough. I just tweeted that link out, by the way, guys. Yeah, it should be in your mentions, and I'm putting your links underneath the stream right now. If you're in here, Dirty Bubble Bets and Betting with Bush are two of the best in the business, and I'm putting their DubClub links right underneath it here. You're going to hear some of their analysis today. You're going to get some free plays, but if you want to lock in the value, if you want it sent right to your phone, DubClub is the only way to go. So dropping those links under the stream. Quick plug. We'll plug it a million times in the stream, but letting the people know.
What a read by Alex Shear right there. This guy's a consummate professional, if I say so myself.
I was gonna say,
Right.
the stream gets better and better each time I tune in. You guys are really getting a hold of this thing over here.
We're dangerous. We're
like
really
it.
dangerous. Should we get cooking?
Let's get cooking.
What do you think? All right. Let me hype up the two guests this week, if you don't mind. I am thrilled to introduce you for the first time, if it is, or if you're familiar with them, you're lucky. But truly, two of the most genuine, intelligent, hardworking, long-term oriented cats in the space. I've had the privilege of working directly with both these guys for a number of years now. And like fine wine, they just keep getting better with age. Click links below the stream to check out their DubClub for real. They're about to show off how smart they are, but I will do the spoiler and just tell you they are. So if you want to stack some units, check out Dirty Bubble, 3-day free trial, betting with Bush, 50% off discount. Obviously, I'm running a free promo as well, lose big winners. But let's get into it, guys. We've got an absolutely loaded slate of Big Ten football this weekend. Let's start with probably the biggest matchup between a team from the East Coast and a team from LA happening in sports in the next couple weeks. No, I'm not talking about the Yankees and the Dodgers playing in the World Series. I'm talking about the State University of New Jersey, Rutgers, traveling out to the LA Coliseum for a early 11 p.m. Eastern kick against the Trojans of Southern Cal. Dirty Bubble, get us started. I'm seeing this at a 14-point spread. USC is favored. Is there anything you like in this game, sides, totals, or otherwise?
So looking at the slate for Big Ten, like you mentioned, you asked us to grab a couple official plays that we'll probably send out to VIP. I don't have an official play for this game specifically. I've got 4 lined up that I want to talk about. One of them being a very rare 5U max.
Whoa.
We'll save that for the end. But yeah, if anyone cares about my leans for this, I think USC is a team that just needs a win. At home, the environment's crazy. I'm really not big on Rutgers. I'm a huge Big Ten guy. I've been, following it my entire life. I think this is one of those games where people kind of overvalue the decline on USC as of late. I think a lot of people are going to buy high on Rutgers, and I think it's just one of those games that USC comes out, takes care of business. I think that 14 points is very attainable. Like I said, nothing official on my end, but if you were to ask me to pick a side, that would probably be mine, would be the USC with the points.
I love the analysis. People may bring up the fact that I came on this program last week and I said, don't be shocked if USC ends the season 9-3. Here they are sitting at 3-4 after another confounding loss. They continue to find new and creative ways to lose football games. I like the read that they're going to find a way to win big here. I'm also not touching this game because I'm sick of betting USC and I'm sick of betting Rutgers. I can't figure those two squads out. Bush, you got anything for the listeners at home in this one, or are you sitting this one out as well?
No, I like the Trojans. I think the Trojans are going to win by 30 plus. I think it's a must win. They have to win. Lincoln Riley decided to sign a contract and leave Oklahoma. It's like do or die at this point. Everybody on that team, dude, they should have beat Penn State. I don't know if anybody watched the game. They should have won that game.
And then I actually didn't get to see the Maryland game, but I leaned Maryland already, so I wasn't shocked to see Maryland had won that game. USC traveling across the country isn't always the best recipe. But here we go, leaning into my next point. Rutgers having to fly all the way out to Los Angeles. They've lost 3 in a row. USC's lost 3 in a row. I guess you can make the argument for Rutgers that they're going to be motivated, whatnot. But how motivated are you going to be when it's 14-0 real quick? Stadium's going crazy, and USC needs a win, and it's Friday at like you said, at 11 o'clock at night. You're tired already. East Coast time you're used to. USC is going to destroy this team, and I think that the line will close about 15, minus 14.5 or 15. So I like USC in this matchup.
You say the stadium's going to be popping off.
Hey, they will be when it's up 14-0 comparative to what it's been whenever they lost to Penn State.
100%. The thing that I'm interested, this is like the greatest LA sports weekend ever. You've got SC at home Friday night. The Dodgers are hosting Game 1 of the World Series on Friday night. The great Fernando Valenzuela passed away yesterday, so I think it's going to be very emotional. Rams are at home. All eyes are in LA this weekend. It feels like a momentum moment for the Trojans. I mean, if Lincoln Riley doesn't win this game, first of all, is his seat already warm in Hollywood? What's the read from our college football gurus over there? This is a couple years now where you got a great quarterback, you got a lot of expectations, and sitting here 7 games through the season is a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think his seat's too hot. You have to look at it. They almost just beat Penn State. And so it's like, hey, get us a win, get us a bowl win, and then I guess we chalk it up and go to next year and give you a couple more seasons. Jim Harbaugh didn't succeed for a little while at Michigan comparative to beating Ohio State. So it took him a second, and then now he's the man in the NFL. So just give him a second. But let's just be honest with ourselves. Lincoln's never been a defensive guy, and USC going to the Big Ten probably wasn't the best choice for that school, but they did it. So
they really do struggle with the like old school Big Ten style muscular teams.
Yeah,
Rutgers is that. Yeah. I mean, Rutgers is that. Rutgers is one of Iowa's.
Yeah, but they're going to load the box, and they're just going to air it out on Rutgers, in my opinion. Rutgers doesn't have the defense to stop USC.
I mean, their quarterback's terrific. They got good playmakers. They got a great tailback as well. USC, I've been super high on them all year. They find ways to lose games they have no business losing. I mean, they were totally in control against Maryland, and the wheels just fell off. So I'm hoping that you guys are right. Although I don't have a hard time rooting against USC as a Stanford alum. Alex, you got anything for us? Oh yeah, go ahead, Bobble.
I was going to say, speaking of Los Angeles, there's a good chance, if anyone in the chat cares, that I'll probably start the Los Angeles vibes tomorrow night with the Rams. Me and Bush and our boy 11 Bets, if he's listening, shout out my man. But we're talking about maybe doing a little collab with the Rams. Could be the spread, could be the money line. We'll just wait and see what tomorrow brings.
You heard it here first. Breaking on Lose Big Winners. All right, I know I said Alex, you got anything, but I got to keep us moving. It's a big card, and we got a couple guests, so I'm gonna
USC. That's it. Move on.
Lay the points.
I'm with you, Bush.
Big noon game, big spread. Columbus, Ohio, coming off a bye. Nebraska coming off a thrashing at the hands of football school, Indiana University. Nebraska is getting 25.5 points when last I checked. Total is sitting at 48.5 on ESPN.com. Let's start with Dirty Bubble first. Are you touching any action in this game?
You know, quite frankly, when we spoke about USC, it was a layoff game and, one that I had a read on and a lean on. This one, I'm staying far away from it. I don't really touch too many Ohio State games when the spreads are that big. I did take Oregon with the points when they played Ohio State, but when it comes to this big of a spread, I'm laying off. There actually is another Big Ten game with a larger spread that I will have an official play on, but for this one, I'm going to save us the time, and I'm laying off.
Alex, I did skip you last time. I should have started with you. And I should start with you when you get to dance on the grave of the Cornhuskers after the thrashing they endured last week. I know you took a lot of pleasure in that. I'm sure you get a lot of pleasure seeing them as 25.5-point dogs. Is that enough? Are you going to just take the points, or are you fading the Huskers? I know you love doing that. Or do you have any sort of player prop action for us? Oh, we can't hear you. You're on mute, my friend.
I'm not taking anything in this game. I hate watching it as a passionate anti-Nebraska guy. So this game feels like it's going to get weird. If I take anything, I'm going to look at the under. But I will not be doing anything other than maybe a live bet. But just hate watching over here.
Quick spread math. 48.5 at the total. 25.5 point spread. I don't think Dylan Raiola is going to score many points in this one. So I agree. This is going to be a weird game. Bush, save us. You got any action for us? We all sit this one out. We're just fans.
Well, I wish I did. We're just fans. I don't even have a lean, to be honest with you. I hate fading a team that got blown out the week before, but I also don't want to fade Ohio State right now. They're going to be angry, and they're just going to smash it. And like you said, the spread and over-under, if you do the math or whatever, it's not signaling Dylan's going to have a good game. I might have been a little wrong on that guy anyways, but I haven't bet Nebraska in like 4 weeks, so I'm just sitting that one out.
Let's all be fans together. You know me,
Yeah.
I really don't like touching a double-digit spread, much less something sitting in the mid-20s. I'm not a player prop guy. I'm not a total guy. I'm an old school against the spread guy. I love the Bucks.
Smith probably scores if that's what we need to give people.
That's our squad lean, a very light lean. We're just.
He's gonna score. He's the best receiver in the country.
What is it in the water in Columbus where they just reload? I mean, they got two guys that are going to be first-round picks every single year.
It's wide receiver U. That and LSU, of course.
Yeah. It's like buying IBM, guys. You can't go broke doing it. You can't get fired doing it, at least. All right, that was a speed round. We're moving fast here. Nobody wants to bet on anything. Big noon to ESPN College Game Day. I will be in attendance at this particular game. I feel like, when Kirk Herbstreit is on the game day dais and he recuses himself from picks if he's calling the game, I feel like I should probably do that because I'll have some outcome, part in the outcome given how loud or quiet I am cheering in the stands. But the Washington Huskies are headed to Bloomington, Indiana. 7-0, 7-0, 7-0. Indiana, Hoosiers. Quarterback's probably not playing. Had surgery on his thumb on Monday. They're laying 6.5. Official, he's not playing.
Everything I've read, he's not playing.
He's definitely out. Still laying 6.5 points. Washington's a good team. On the road, 9 a.m. Pacific kickoff. Bush, you got anything for us on this one?
Yeah, I do. I like Washington with the points. I don't want Washington to win because I love this feel-good story from Indiana, but I do think that they have a chance. Any team that starts a quarterback that has he's going to have pressure because he's dealing with a team that's undefeated for the first time in a long time. So he's going to come into the game. He's already going to be like, all right, I can't mess up. Probably just game manage. Let's just get out of here with a win. Issue is it's hard to game manage against the number one pass defense in the country. Washington actually has a pretty good defense, and statistically wise, they're the best pass defense in the country, and they allow the least amount of yards. And I think that's a recipe for disaster in Indiana. I think that worst case scenario, Indiana wins by 3. They just keep it close. Washington's capable of keeping this close. They haven't had a good road game yet. So that is the hesitant. I believe I can't go check right now because it takes me off the stream, but I think Washington had a close road game and a bad road game. And so, but both of them were losses. And so they'll be motivated to come in here. Like you said College Game Days there. Is that what you said?
Correct. And the game's on BTN.
Beautiful.
How
Beautiful.
about that?
I mean, everybody's going to bet on Indiana in the morning if College Game Day is there. And I bet you, surprisingly, if the ones that don't watch and wake up late, hungover or whatever, and get on their phone and see Indiana -6, they're going to have no idea that quarterback's out. And so, to be honest with you, I think Washington's a pretty good bet. As of right now, I'm eyeing it for a star just to start the day. I'll probably wait just to see if I can get 7 because I don't expect Washington to get that many bets. I really don't. Even with the quarterback out, people are going to still think Indiana can win that game, which they're capable of winning. Indiana by 3 probably. That's my hot take. But give me Washington with the points here, especially with that defense.
Bush, you're spitting bars. You're making me feel a little squirrely about my bet, but we'll get to
okay.
that later.
You can be on Indiana. They're good.
Bubble, tell me what you like in this one.
So this one's a little tricky for me because honestly, I agree with pretty much everything that Bush says as far as Washington spread goes. Money leans Indiana. 7 points. I think it's going to end up being a close game. But I'm taking a little bit of an unconventional approach on this one. I'm going with the Indiana team total over 29.5 at minus 135. I'm not touching that spread at all. Like I said, I think everything aligns with Washington's spread. I think Indiana, like Bush said, wins the game by a field goal or, just a couple of points. But backup quarterback or not, they've hit this line every single game so far this year. I'm taking a flyer on it. It's not going to be a huge play by any means, but it's probably going to be one of those 0.75 or 1 unit stabs on the early slate for me. This is one of those years in college football where the money and the splits have just kind of been all over the place. I feel like a lot of people's conventional ways of capping have not been, as successful to start the year as in recent years, mine included. So I'm taking a little bit of an unconventional approach here because, like I said, I think even with the backup quarterback, Indiana's got a ton to play for. And I think that, if they can scrimmage by with a W here, get the troops back intact, I think they have what it takes to potentially make a run at the college football playoff.
So this is going to be a little bit of a shootout the way you're scripting this one out. They're going to go over 30 and Washington's going to cover. So that's like a 30-27, 35-31 kind of ball game in Bloomington.
I was looking at either, the Indiana team total over or just the over in general because like I said, I think Washington's going to keep it close. Washington's blue balled me one too many times so far this year, so I'm flipping sides, taking Indiana and run with the storybook.
When Washington does it, I actually believe it's called purple balling. They got the color scheme. It's a little different. I want the last word on this one. Shearer, are you touching this one?
Yeah, sorry DBB, but I'm looking at the under potentially here. I think I'm going to take a little two-leg, might do a teaser where I'll buy Washington up, maybe get it to 10, and then take an alt under a little bit higher. I think the quarterback does make a difference, but I could be wrong. That offense has a lot of talent. I watched that game all the way through with Lou on Saturday at an Indiana bar. They looked fantastic, but I do think Washington keeps it a little bit closer, and I just don't think they're going to hit that total. So I'll probably do a little teaser on it.
This is a spicy game. We got action a lot of different ways. A little bit of a
2-on-2 right here.
Yeah, no kidding. No surprise here. I'm on the Hoosiers. I actually like that the quarterback is out. Keeping it with a 1-score spread, I like more than if this was this would probably be a 10-point spread if Work was playing. 10 or 11, I would guess. Probably 10.5. I like keeping it 1 score. The backup looked terrific last week. He played a lot of snaps. I know it was already kind of out of reach at that point. Indiana's also a very balanced team. They run the football extremely well. They got playmakers on the outside. They have a very good tight end. Their defense is very good. I think the first quarter could be ugly. Bush is spot on. Washington is nasty defensively. Stevie Belichick is calling the shots as the DC. He does a lot of complicated shit, and they play really well together. So if this is ugly in the first quarter, don't panic. Indiana's a football school. They're the more talented team. I also think, Bush, to your point, Washington has not proved they can get up and go win a road game. The one road game that was close was a night game in Piscataway. They didn't even show up to their 11 o'clock game against Iowa at Iowa. This is another early kick. Bloomington's going to be rocking. I know I said it's going to be close early. I think they're going to lean on them over the course of the game, and I do think they're going to win by at least a touchdown or more. So I bet on the Hoosiers every week, and they made me look really smart. I'm not going to stop now.
What a game it'll be.
I love all the different ways we're attacking it. This is another interesting one. I'm going to start with Bush here because I know you're a big fan of the Ducks. Oregon coming off a very workmanlike blowout against Purdue where they didn't show much. Illinois putting away the fancy 1924 helmets and the weird jerseys that were very controversial. Heading out to their first conference game against the Ducks and getting 25 points. Total is sitting at 54.5. I've seen this line moved a lot. It's now 21.5. When I put the sheet together, it was 25. So I don't know what, if anything, are you playing in this game, Bush, and where did you get it priced at?
So I haven't played it yet, simply because the line has kept dropping. And so why would I bet it if I'm going to look for Oregon until I would just wait? Simply, that's kind of what I'm doing for my big UFC play too. I'm just praying to God people bet on the other side so I can just nuke like a minus 200. And anyways, I like the Ducks, baby. We are the first time we have been ranked number one since 2012. Guys, that's 12 years. Our fans are begging for a blowout. Illinois is 5-1 covering the spread. Okay, so they have covered against Penn State and Michigan, both big games that people bet on over the course of the year. They're a wagon for these people that just bet kind of casually. They have to be. That being said, do you look at this game kind of casually and you look at, bro, Illinois probably is the side you want to take. They've covered at 5-1, and so now with me as a sports bettor, I have always learned, hey, let's take the opposite narrative of what everyone else is going to take. And normally that's going to be the good side. Now, I don't do that every time. Trust me, I don't do that every single time. But this time, whenever I get the number one team in the country with the other team betting on them at home in our first game defending the number one team, the number one team lost last time they were ranked number one, Texas. And so people are going to fade them again there. There's going to be a lot of Illinois bets. That's not going to be a recipe for good for them. Oregon did not show anything, like you said, against Purdue and destroyed them 35-0. Our defense looked good. I think that will look kind of similar with Illinois, but we're going to let it open up, and the Ducks will win by 24 plus.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, Illinois coming off a big emotional W at home. Storm the field, Bielema on-field interview. Everybody's, feeling really good.
One more thing.
Yes, sir. Talk to us.
Illinois and Purdue, I can't look at it, but remind me, Illinois and Purdue played, and they let up.
Illinois squeaked out a victory in overtime.
49 points to Purdue. Are you kidding me? Oregon's scoring every possession. They're winning by 24 points. It's over.
You heard it.
Whacked.
Bubble. What do we got?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and have everyone just listen to a repeat performance, but I'm all over the Ducks too. I'm not big on Illinois at all. They beat Michigan last week. We'll get into that later. Don't really think that's an impressive victory by all that means. Oregon probably won't have a lot of the money on them when you've got a situation where you're laying 21 points and, all the money's on the underdog. Like Bush said, when everyone goes left, we go right. I'm all over the Ducks. So we'll keep it short and simple so we can just move on to Shire here.
Talk to him.
I came into this a little bit square looking at Illinois, the way you mapped it out, Bush, and then you just delivered just an eloquent, intelligent soliloquy? I don't know what I'm trying to say. Soliloquy. I love the over. Give me the over, and I might sprinkle on Oregon as well. I think it's a track race. I think there's going to be so many points scored. Like you said, Bush, it might be every possession. I was shocked the total wasn't closer to 60. So I will be all over the over and potentially on Oregon as well.
I'm seeing the total at 54.5 right now.
By the way, Illinois is not scoring.
There you go. I mean, can we talk about how good Bush's hat is? And Bubbles. I'm the only guy without head apparel, and I feel naked. I got these giant headphones on.
You got good hair. You got good hair.
Got a haircut yesterday. Okay, I guess it's the professionals against Lewis this week because I love Illinois in this one. Caveat, I got it early in the week at 25. I don't know why the hell it was that number. So if you can't get it at 25, I'm not telling you what to do. So maybe just take out your time machine and make that happen. Obviously, don't buy the points because I'm seeing it like at 21.5 right now. Bush, I love your logic. I did this when Illinois went to Happy Valley a month ago. I said, what the hell? 18 points, that's way too many points. Vegas knows something I don't know. I'm laying them. And Illinois covered, and it was never even
It was
sweaty.
easy.
So I'm going to, not double reverse think myself. And, of course, I'll probably not cover, but at least I won't make the same mistake twice. I'll make a different mistake once, 2 times. So I am taking the points. Illinois is a good football team is the other thing. They're a very balanced team. Good defensively. They got some dudes up front. Quarterback gets the ball out on time. He can run. They got a great guy on the outside, Pat Bryant. They got a great tight end. They have a very solid linebacking core. So I like the team. I mean, they're not the $20 million roster like Oregon, but I don't think that this is 25, that was the spread against Purdue. Illinois, I know it was a 1-point win against Purdue for Illinois, but that was a look-ahead spot, and they completely melted down in the second half. So I feel good about getting the 25. I don't love betting big spreads like this, but I'm just going to do it. I was looking for 5 games. This is probably my 4th most confident play, and I'm going to hope for the best on this one. And me and Bush are going to have words on Sunday morning, one way or the other.
We're going to battle. I'm just kidding.
All right, this is why our guy in the Lakers uniform is here, so we're going to get started with him. Iowa, embarrassing loss to the Fighting Dirty Bubbles of East Lansing last week. Now they're getting, I'm seeing this at 13.5 when I printed this sheet out on Monday. Right now it's up to 14. Totals at 37.5. Iowa and Northwestern seems like they always play close games. This one's in Kinnick, and Iowa's a big favorite. Give us the homer spin as to why they're going to cover, or are you not even touching it and you're doing some silly player prop parlay?
It's not. Yeah, it's not silly. Yeah, we'll be taking Caleb Johnson. Obviously, it's free, even those odds are obviously getting worse every week. But I'll probably take it with an alt spread. But yeah, I'm not going to take Iowa here. Cade McNamara sucks. I'm not even going to say what I wish upon him on this stream. Robbed us blind, took a bunch of money, can't deliver. He sucks. Put in Brendan Sullivan. I don't trust Iowa against anybody. Yeah, I'll probably take Caleb Johnson and an alt line for Iowa. Maybe try to get it under 10. If I get 9.5, I would take that with Caleb Johnson or something else. But I will not be taking Iowa to beat any team by 2 touchdowns with Cade McNamara starting quarterback.
Do you think that Sullivan's going to get some burn in this one? He got some snaps last week. McNamara looked better in the third quarter, at least.
Yeah, I mean, they were scheming a little bit better, but Brendan Sullivan is a Northwestern transfer, by the way. So this could be a big spot for him. I might try to find some props on him if they're going to put him up. But Brendan Sullivan, every time he's been in the game, has scored a touchdown this year. I think he's 7 for 7. So he's a little more versatile. I hope they get him in the game. Kirk said Cade's the starter again, so I don't know. We'll see.
Narrative alert. Bubble, your Spartans absolutely put a thrashing on the Hawkeyes last week. What did you see in that game, and are you touching the 13.5 or 14 points Northwestern at Iowa?
Well, first of all, would like to shout out the state of Iowa. They made me a very profitable man. They made my VIP subs a very profitable man. We took MSU spread with a little sprinkle on the money line. Almost maxed them out, but I got a little bit scared. So I moved 3 units on the spread. I'm not touching this game at all. Honestly, I was kind of leaning like a teaser with Northwestern and the under, just kind of out of spite for how bad Iowa looked last week. But I also think there's probably a reason that there's a 14-point spread here. So it's an instant layoff for me. But like I said, shout out Iowa. We love those guys over there.
Feeding families. Bush, are you touching this one?
No, but listening to you guys talk about it, I think a fun bet would be like Northwestern to score like a field goal, like max, like all under Northwestern team total, the lowest you can find.
I got on my soapbox last week. I said Northwestern was going to surprise the Badgers and cover and potentially win. That was another pie-in-face play from old Burek. So, again, I don't like going back to the well when I look like an idiot. So I'm avoiding this one. I was on the Spartans last week. I felt really good about that play. So I I was 3-2 last week. I'm giving myself harshest critic, but yeah, I'm just staying away. Iowa, that's a lot of points, and Northwestern has looked good at moments. If anything, I would probably lean Iowa because Northwestern is one of those teams that's like it is an Iowa, but not a good Iowa. So they beat up on these finessey teams, kind of muscle them. But when they meet the bigger bully, they tend to get beat up a little bit. Iowa, I think, is a better version of Iowa than Northwestern this year, at least. So long story short, the lean would probably be Iowa. It's a bigger number than I would expect, but not crazy big, which makes you want to take them. I'm not touching this game, though. I'm just going to be a fan for the next installment of this long-time rivalry.
I do, by the way, Bush, that defense is going to come with a ton of energy. I am now leaning to maybe Northwestern team total under or something like that because I think they're going to just be hungry.
If you don't, I mean, like, you listen to everybody talk, I'm starting to lean Iowa. But if you don't think our offense is capable, then let's just do Northwestern team total under because they're not going to score.
Is Castro the cornerback playing this week? I think that was really
He is
important.
playing.
That's a big deal.
That was huge.
That changed the whole game script for Minnesota, for Michigan State last week. The vertical passing game was really where they were making their hay last week, and Castro's he's their takeaway corner, and I don't think they're very deep.
When you're missing a first round pick, it'll hurt. Yeah, but no excuse against a team like Michigan State.
How about Iowa just cranking out first round cornerbacks under the radar, left and right?
2 white guys starting cornerbacks in the NFL right now,
Miller
making
Moss.
history.
All right, let's go more Big Ten West action. Maryland coming off a thrilling come-from-behind victory, storm the field dub against the Trojans. They head west to the land of 1,000 lakes to play the Minnesota Golden Gophers off a bye, off their revenge tour on the state of California, beating the Trojans and the Bruins. They're laying 4.5. This is a 2:30 Central kick in Minneapolis. Line looks like it moved down to Minnesota -4. The total 45.5. Let's start with our resident Big Ten West expert over there in the black and gold. Alex, you like anything in this one?
I'm staying off this game. If anything, I'll take Minnesota. That'd be my lean here. I think Maryland is partied out. I think they're all coming into practice a little bit hungover after a win like that. So, if anything, I would take Minnesota, but I'll probably stay away from it.
Bush, what's your policy on storming the field against a 3-3 team?
Dude, my dream is to storm the field in general. I've never been to a game where I can dude, storm the field every game.
Open the floodgates. Let the kids play.
It's awesome. You can storm the field at Clemson in any game. That's like the tradition. You get to go onto the field afterwards, and it's awesome. It really is. It's pretty cool.
Let the kids have some fun.
Yeah.
What's your take on Minnesota -4.5?
I don't have much in this game. Frankly, if we weren't doing the stream, I wouldn't even have looked at this game. But I looked at it, and I kind of lean Maryland, but like you said, they could just be partied out and get blown out at Minnesota. But just looking at the way I bet, I would take Maryland, but I'm not confident even in the slightest.
Look at these disciplined bettors on the live stream. I mean, this is a absolute clinic. We don't have to touch the whole slate. There's 70 games on Saturday. Let's pick our spots. Bubble. With that being said, you got anything for us?
I guess discipline's the theme on this one because kind of a combo of the two of them. Like, I looked at it because you told me to look at all the Big Ten games and see if I could sprinkle out a few winners. And I lean Maryland. Probably won't touch it. You know, we'll see what the money and the numbers do over the weekend. But coming off a big win like that, 4 points, could go either way. I'm probably 90% chance I just lay off it. But kind of like Bush, I do lean Maryland a tad.
Well, good news for the stream. We have an official play coming out of Lose Big Winners brain. No leans, just winners. Reverse CLV, so that's always a good sign. I really like Minnesota at this spot. I got it at 4.5 on Monday. Maryland is one of those finesse. The Big Ten, there's finesse teams and there's beefcake teams. Maryland's in the finesse category. A lot of West Coast short passing game, zone read, not a great defense. They play well against other finesse teams. They beat SC. They beat Michigan State when they were really more on that side of the kind of duality. They really struggle against the more beefcake sort of brands of football. They got blown out at home versus Northwestern. They lost to Michigan State. I think Minnesota is one of those beefcake teams that's kind of in between a Northwestern and an Iowa in terms of actual quality. So that you're looking at a team that lost to Northwestern at home. They're coming off an emotional W. I love fading teams coming off of a field storming. Minnesota, on the other hand, coming off a bye week. I love fading well-coached teams coming out of a bye week. PJ Fleck's been there for 8 years for a reason. He's a good football coach. I think PJ in the locker room has been talking about we're running the table for 2 weeks. And he's been drilling the guys, I'm sure. So I think they're going to be sharp coming out of this one. I think Maryland's going to be a little fat cat. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered kind of energy. So I like the 4.5. I could see this being a blowout. And I think they're going to be partying in Minneapolis. It's going to be a workmanlike W. And I'm changing my don't be surprised if they're 9-3 at the end of the year from USC to, well, I'm not doing that to Minnesota. They got at Illinois and versus Penn State, so I'll just shut my mouth.
I retract my lean on Maryland. You have convinced me otherwise. I did not realize we were looking at a bye week on PJ Fleck. I like that. And if you're telling me that PJ Fleck's actually getting on the microphone and saying we're going to go run the table, then he better beat Maryland. I will say, shout out PJ Fleck. He was the first person that put me on Michigan last year. He got on the mic after they got throttled and goes, that's the most complete team I've played in all of my years of coaching. So I started looking up all that stuff, and hey, I became the biggest Michigan fan you could find. Sorry, Dirty Bubble. But
they made me last year too.
I'm off Michigan now. They suck. But hey, I got in on Michigan when I needed to. So I was happy with that. I'm happy with the Wolverines.
And you got PJ to thank. I mean, PJ Fleck's a good coach. He's very easy to troll or make fun of. But he's had a lot of success at a school where it's hard to win consistently.
I agree.
So I don't see him losing to Maryland in this one, and I don't think it's going to be like a 3 or 4 point final. So
let's go Gophers.
All right, let's go to the nightcap. This is the NBC game. This is a really interesting matchup. Penn State coming off the bye and an emotional overtime victory at Southern Cal. Wisconsin just throttled Northwestern on the road. Wisconsin, a lot of people wrote off early in the season. Quarterback tears his ACL against Bama. They get absolutely spanked. They lose a non-competitive game at SC. But guess what? Get right in the bye week. The offense has looked a lot better the past few weeks, and they got a little bit of mojo in Madtown. They're getting 6.5 points at home. Let's start with Bush. You touching anything in this game? This is an interesting matchup between two solid football teams.
So I haven't decided yet if I'm going on Wisconsin yet or not, but I certainly won't be taking Penn State.
Interesting.
The line to me just is screaming that you want to take Wisconsin the way I bet. And so it's like I've like trained my brain to like, boom, okay, we're not going to take Penn State right there because that looks way too easy kind of thing. And so Penn State off a bye, you can convince yourself that Penn State's going to go into Madison and cover, but I don't necessarily think people understand how rowdy they do get in Madison. And like you said, they just got a little bit of motivation winning the way they did last week. And I don't know. I need to do a little bit more research on exactly Wisconsin, to be honest with you, to lay the points against the top 3 team. But like I said, if I had to give a lean out, I definitely lean Wisconsin in this game, just based on what I've looked at, and Madison at home at 8 o'clock at night, prime time, is going to get lit.
It's a great environment. I don't know if any of you guys have been to a game there. It is an awesome place to watch a college football game. feel like
I've
Penn
had a
State.
buddy that played there, and he said the
Oh.
same thing.
It's a great town. It's a great stadium. They're going to be drinking all day. By the time game rolls around, it's going to be an absolute zoo. Wisconsin's blown teams out past few times they played football. I mean, look at the last 3 games. Obviously, they're not playing a murderer's row. They beat Northwestern by 20 on the road. They beat Rutgers by 35 on the road. They beat Purdue by 45 at home.
Purdue's horrible.
Purdue's horrible, so we'll not assign too much value to that one. But I mean, Rutgers has beat some decent teams. Northwestern's been competitive at times. I'm gonna butt in and say I'm taking the points. I like the Badgers in this one a lot. So look ahead spot for Penn State. They got the big one at home against Ohio State next week. Wisconsin plays Penn State tough. Jimmy Franklin's been there forever, and Wisconsin always gives them competitive games. It just seems like a different football team after the bye week, and I think that's not really priced into this number. The backup quarterback that's taken over the past few weeks is starting to really come into his own. Defense is playing well. I like home dogs, especially when they're decent football teams. So give me the 6.5. The leaves are starting to turn, which means that's when James Franklin starts losing big games. I know it's not Michigan or Ohio State, but Wisconsin's
What's the money line?
Just money? That's a good question. Sure, what do you got
Penn
pulled up
State's
for us?
money line? I bet that's going to be an
Penn State's minus 240. Penn State's
Where do we
minus
get
240
Wisconsin
right now.
at?
Yeah,
They're probably like plus 200 then, or
Wisconsin's right under plus 200. Yeah. And by the way, 84% of the public is on Penn State minus
Of course they
6.5.
give me Wisco.
So-
This feels
Wisco
like
can win the
Yeah.
game.
this feels like Penn State going to USC 2 weeks ago. I love the points. I'll sprinkle the money line just because Penn State likes choking in big moments, and the only thing better than choking a big moment is choking right before the really big moment and making it a little less big. So we'll see what happens. Shear's chuckling, so I'm going to bubble here. Are you touching this one?
So right now I'm not touching it. Like I said, the only official play I have out right now is the 5 unit, which we'll be talking about soon. But for the sake of content and for the sake of looking back at it after this weekend, I'm not touching Penn State full game points. But something that was catching my eye was Penn State first half minus 3. The Wisconsin 6.5, 7 really does look appetizing. It's great territory for even a backdoor cover if they go down 2 possessions towards the end of the game. It's just not a team that I can get my money behind. Not saying that I'm going to officially place that first half bet on Penn State, but it's like you look at the resumes, and Wisconsin, yeah, they've blown some teams out, but are the teams really that good that they've been blowing out? And I think it's just going to be the tale of 2 different teams when it comes down to it. I think Penn State finds a way to win the game. It could be by a field goal, it could be by a couple points, but I do like the first half, them coming out, showing what the offense is about. I think it's a lot more attainable for them to win the first half by a field goal than it is for them to win the full game by 7 or more points. So I'll put it that way.
Balanced, reasonable analysis from our guy. That's what we expect and we love. Alex, I can tell that mustache is working hard right now. What are you thinking about over there?
I have a teaser actually. I'm buying Wisconsin up to 10, and then I'm taking an alt over. I might actually just take the over straight up. Wisconsin blowing teams out, and I think Penn State. I actually really like their offense. Yeah, give me Wisconsin at 10 points, easy. And then you guys are kind of talking me into taking Wisconsin plus 7 and maybe sprinkling the money line. So I might take it a couple different ways. I will absolutely be live betting this game. If Penn State scores first and I can grab, plus 10.5 live for Wisconsin, it might be 2 units on there, but I will be live betting this game for sure.
I've come to appreciate that Alex really loves the live betting game. He's got the clicker and the DraftKings right next to each other.
I just discovered I like live betting too. I'd never done it before. 4 years, never did it once. And I was at Texas, and Arch came in, and I was like, Dude, I have to. And then obviously Arch didn't play, but hey, I had 16. They lost by 15. It was beautiful. I was like, dude, this game's gonna be close. Like, there's 13 million people watching it. Like, are you kidding me? And so Texas did come back, and that was nice. I 100% like where Alex's head is on this. If Penn State were to score first, which goes along with what Bubbles bet is as well, then Wisconsin at like a money line at like plus 400 would be beautiful.
Love it.
I do
All
want
right,
to do a quick. I gotta do a quick promo,
Please.
just based off the conversation of live bets. Just had my boy Live Bet Benny join the DBB squad. He's in the Discord full time, smashing out live bets. He won 7 in a row last night. So like I said, I don't touch live bets because it's really hard to get them out to the DubClub and get them locked in at that line. But if anyone wants some side action, aside from what I put out officially, make sure that you take that free day trial, link up the Discord, lock in with Live Bet Benny, make some money. That's my one promo for the day.
Bush, you got to follow that up because, I mean, that was professionally done.
He's
Push
a professional.
I mean, geez Louise.
What's my promo? I'm doing half off for a month. So come hit some bangers with us. I got a big UFC bet coming up. I always have big bets on the weekends. And more touchdown scores than anybody you know.
The player prop king. I'll vouch for Bush right there. That's my
These
vouch.
two have been doing it more than most, longer than most, and they're just keep getting better. So, bye now. Leading right into the reason we're all here today. The battle for Paul Bunyan's axe. Bush, I know you've abandoned Michigan, but still mentally in my brain, you're a Michigan guy.
Totally.
Bubble,
But
you are. Oh, please, Bush, take it away.
no, you seem like you were going somewhere with that.
Yeah, I was building up the whole
Build up.
crescendo.
Build up. I am a Michigan guy.
Let it be known. Bubble, in a pinch, will actually fill in and wear the Spartan costume in East Lansing. That's how much he loves ball. That's how much he loves the Spartans. People outside the Midwest may not appreciate this. This is a big-time rivalry. One of probably the 3 or 4 most intense, real rivalries, definitely in the Big Ten, potentially the country, especially when it's running hot. Before we even talk about action in this one, Bubba, why don't you educate the listeners at home about what the big brother, little brother rivalry has looked like in the state of Michigan over the past, 15 years?
Well, for those who don't know, obviously I'm a big Michigan State fan. Graduated from Michigan State back in 2019. Still actually live out in the Lansing area, so catch a couple games here and then. If we're looking back, the long-term scope of this rivalry, Michigan's definitely got our number. You look back a little bit more on the minuscule. It's been a tad bit more back and forth, but in the longevity, they've definitely had much more success, as of recent. I try to keep all of my bias out of any, logistical reasons behind my bets. I will share my bet a little bit here at the end once everyone has their little tidbit about the rivalry and what they want to share. But we got a big play coming. Safe to say it might not be shocking to most people, but there's a lot of reasoning behind it, and I'm really excited for the game just in general as a fan.
Connor, out of great respect for you as a human being, as a capper, as an entrepreneur, I'm giving you the last word on this one. So, Alex, why don't you get us started, actually?
Yeah, I looked at this total, and my initial thought was like, that's low. Maybe it's going to be a dog fight. Yeah. It's open to 41.5, down a point. I think I'm going to go with the over, actually. At first, I saw it, and I was like, no, this line is weird. It's going to be a dog fight, but I actually think Michigan State's offense looked really good last week against Iowa, a lot better than I expected. Granted, we were missing some pieces, but my concern is Michigan going to score? But looking at this total, I think there could be some weird big plays here and there. I'm going to take the over, and then I'm going to lean Michigan State, if anything, because they beat Iowa, and it looks better for Iowa if they do well. So I'm rooting for you, DBB.
I'll go next. This is a very interesting matchup. I got it earlier this week at Michigan State +5. It's down to a 3.5-point spread at ESPN.com right now. So CLV right back at you, Burek. Good job. Michigan and Iowa this year, to me, are two extremely comparable teams. Very solid run games, very solid defensively. Not super deep defensively, but a really good 11. And nothing but question marks for the quarterback position. The other little wrinkle for you, how about it? No ball guy. Michigan's star DB, cornerback, Will Johnson, left the Illinois game with a foot injury. He's been injured all year. I don't know if he's going to play on Saturday. If he is going to play, he's not going to be at 100%. So you got a team very similar to Iowa. Iowa's star cornerback last week was out, and Michigan State abused them. They punted one time. They should have scored way more points. That offense was moving the ball at will. Michigan State is good offensively when the vertical passing game works. And I think that Michigan, especially if Will Johnson doesn't play or if he's not at 100%, is going to really struggle to slow down the vertical passing game of Childs to that guy, Marsh, who looked terrific last week, making plays all over the field. I love getting the points here. Michigan's not a good football team, so to get 5 points is great. The other thing, narrative streetwise, I'm starting to get the vibe that this rivalry is going back to the Mark D'Antonio Michigan State era and the in-between Lloyd Carr and Jim Harbaugh era at Michigan, where it was really like a 50-50 every year and little brother was punching back. Jonathan Smith is a really good football coach. I think he's going to be in East Lansing for a while and successful. Sharon Moore, the jury is out on him. Certainly been a turbulent first year. So I wouldn't be shocked at all if Michigan State wins this game. I love the points. And if Michigan loses this game, they're going to have a hard time getting to bowl eligibility because their schedule down the stretch is tough. So I'm taking the points. I think Michigan will probably win in a close one. But I would not be shocked at all if the Spartans go in Ann Arbor and win. Bush, tell me where I'm wrong or hype me up.
I don't think you're wrong. I'm not per se betting this yet, but in about 5 minutes, I probably will be betting on Michigan State. You guys have almost convinced me, and I just need one more kicker, and I bet it's coming in a second. But that being said, shout out Michigan State for kicking the funniest field goal of 2024 and covering against the Ducks because me and Bubble were both on that. And my take on this is defer to what everybody's been waiting for anyways on the stream. So I'm going to kick it to Bubble, and Bubble start cooking.
Give the people what they want.
All right. So if you've been watching this stream the entire time, you've probably just been waiting for these words to come spitting out of my mouth. But it's 5U max bet time. And the first thing I'm going to say is I'm not one of those people who will shell out a max bet every week, every day, yada, yada, yada. You might get one from me every other week now that football season's here. Once football season's gone, they're very, very rare. But I'm buying a little bit of juice here, and I'm taking Michigan State, looking straight at the numbers, the money. One thing that does slightly concern me is there's a lot of money on Michigan State. I see the line's gone all the way down to about 3.5 now, which quite frankly, I'm not comfortable touching. All bias aside, I think there's a good chance, like Lou said, Michigan wins in a close one, but I also think there's a chance that the greatest kicker in college football, Jonathan Kim, could squeak one out at the end to win. That being said, it gives me very similar vibes to Colorado, Arizona last week. There was a ton of money on Colorado early at a big number underdog. Money continued to pour in. The line went down. You get to Friday night, Saturday morning, a lot of people look at the splits that haven't been paying attention to it all week, see that there's not a bunch of money on Arizona, go, let's fade the public here, not even realizing that, the line has steamed down that much, and we all saw what happened. Was I someone who fell victim to that trap? Yes, I was. I'll be the first person to admit it. But they say it's only a mistake if you make it twice, and I'm not making it here with Sparty. I think a lot of people are going to look at Michigan, later on this week who hasn't looked at the board, look at them at, -3, -3.5. Think that's the sharp play, when in reality, I think it's quite the opposite. You look at the two teams. The first thing I'm going to say before we get into the game is save this for a year for next season. Michigan State will be a top 25 football team. This is the time to buy on Michigan State, and honestly, I think this is the time to sell on Michigan. Fan, follower of the team, whatever you are, your expectations were pretty low going into this year, just because you knew we had a very young team. We got Aiden Childs at quarterback, one of the youngest guys in the entire league. So you knew there was going to be some growing pains to start, and I think we all saw that to start the year. Sloppy interceptions, fumbles, miscues, yada yada. As the year goes on, I think a lot of that stuff has been cleaned up. I think Childs is a little bit safer with his decisions. But I think we've got all the playmakers to make this a close game. We've got Nick Marsh, routes, Jack Belling, I think is going to be a really nice protection piece, because I think it might be a little bit of a lower scoring game. I think, Michigan especially is going to try to keep it to the run game, keep it tight, take a lot of, chew a lot of clock, make it, a possession by possession game. And I think Michigan State has all the tools to make that happen. I think we have the ability to load the box on defense, take away, whatever they might have of a passing game. I really don't have any confidence in Michigan's quarterback or Michigan's passing game in general. And I think we've got enough defensive tools to load the box and, take away their strong suit of their running game. And I think this is one of those games where, Aiden Childs makes his mark, on the map. I'm not saying he's going to go out and throw 3 or 4 touchdowns. I think it's just going to be one of those games where they realize, all the tools that he has in his pocket and, how much growth he has to develop still as a young quarterback. I think it's one of those games where he could throw for maybe, only 150, 175 yards through the air, but he could have another 40, 50 on the feet. Obviously, like I said, our field goal game, one of the best in the country. Jonathan Kim, top tier, field goal kicker. We all saw what happened against Iowa. And, especially in the college game, like that's something that is very important. I think, any single person watching this stream right now has probably got a bad beat off, a 20 or 30-yard field goal from a college kicker. It's just, something that's born to the game. And I think, looking at some of the loose ends as far as Michigan State, I think it's just one of those positions where we have the upper hand on all the important logistics in this game: defense, special teams, the ability to move the ball in multiple ways. And, all bias aside, I'm not taking the money line because, like I said, I think there's a good chance that, Michigan could pull it out in a close one. But you'll be damned if you don't think I'm going into this game thinking Michigan State comes out with the victory.
From the chat before we let the brain trust go, I feel a lot smarter. The thing I like about this group in particular, I feel like we all learned something together from each other, kind of like a book club atmosphere. We were open-minded. We got a little bit smarter as a group today. And that's bad news for the bookmakers because we're going to inflict some serious damage on Friday and Saturday.
I have a shout out. I got a shout out, Bush. Clemson 60-1. You were in Chicago. You were in my ear about it, and I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, come on. Then I started paying a little bit of attention, and I watched their next game, and I texted you, and I was like, okay, actually, I think this is good. I ended up getting it at 55-1. Clemson win the national title. I mean, dude, they are a wagon. They look really good, and with the new playoff format, I think anything is possible right now. I don't know what they're at now, but I can guarantee they're not 60-1. So just shout out to you. Maybe I'll get a cash out if I get nervous, but I might just ride it out for the vibes. So I appreciate it.
Ride at least to the semis, and then you might be able to hedge. That's like really kind of the goal. I have Texas and Clemson big bets, or Clemson I have a small bet to win 60 units, and freaking Texas I have a 4-unit nuke to win 30 units. And so it's like, I personally think both teams are going to make it far. And if they make it far, can you imagine them playing each other in the Natty? Like, that could happen. Totally could happen. Georgia's about the only team I don't want to see either team play. And if Georgia could get knocked off, which is possible, by another team, I'd take my chances of Clemson and Texas versus any team in the country.
ACC's got some interesting dynamics at play right now from a conference championship perspective. You've got multiple undefeated teams that are not going to play each other in the regular season. ACC, quick reminder, only an 8-game conference schedule, and it's a 16-team league now, so you're missing half your conference in a given year. Charlotte, who would it be? I think conventional wisdom right now is Clemson.
I mean, I have my date set and planned out to fly out to Charlotte for the game. So Clemson will be playing, and
Hell yes.
I hope they play Miami. I really do. I pray to God Miami keeps winning and winning. I guess they can win close ones if they want, but I hope they win impressively. I root for Miami actively so that they can get that butt kicked and it look impressive. And to be honest with you, I pray to God Cam is the number one Heisman candidate coming in, which I do think Genty's going to struggle this weekend against UNLV. Spread's telling you that. I'm praying for it, so I'm a little bit like rooting for his downfall, just a tiny bit, simply because of my boy. I want my boy to shine. You know, it's not like I'm being personal or whatever. I like Genty. He's a little bit overrated, but it's okay. And Ollie Gordon fan club over here. And anyways, I do think that a fun bet, if we're still talking about Clemson, is Cade Heisman. Cade Heisman, dude. He's the only candidate in the top 6 that is going to play the number 1 guy in the last game of the year when everyone's going to be recently biased. And if Cade were to have scored 4 touchdowns or more against Cam Ward and we shut out Cam Ward, bro, that's going to be hard to deny a Clemson ballot at least going to New York City. And, bro, in my opinion, I think it's possible. Cade's only chance at an ACC championship game was a freshman year where he won the MVP and lit it up against North Carolina. And so please give me Miami. I don't want SMU just because SMU doesn't do anything for the Heisman. People will still overlook Clemson. SMU is overrated anyways. It'll all work itself out. Pittsburgh, I don't believe, will be undefeated whenever they play Clemson. I'm going to that game. It's at Pittsburgh. It'll be if they are undefeated, let's go. Like that's more fun for me and more fun for Clemson and even better for Cade's Heisman. And so I don't know what the number is exactly, but it's dropped. I've told everyone to bet it already. So they're not playing full games. That's
the other thing too. Yeah. Well, that's because they're not playing big games. They're beating up on the weaker ACC, but they got a big one at Pitt. South Carolina to end the regular season. And to your point, hopefully they're playing a very hyped up game in Charlotte against a Miami team that's got a lot of hype and has looked fraudulent for a lot of their recent win streak.
It's unfortunate Louisville hasn't done any good because we were hoping Louisville would be ranked coming into Clemson off a bye week. Or Clemson has a bye week. And so they're going to get destroyed. But they're not ranked, so it's not going to look impressive, and everybody can keep saying we're not playing anybody good. We're playing teams on our schedule, and the game was 6-0 at halftime against Georgia, and we had it in their red zone 3 different times. Sorry we didn't score. I think I would bet 20 units on Clemson plus 13 against Georgia this time. So it's like I think it's aged well. like look at it. I think it really has, and I guarantee you that's not the spread on a neutral site if we do get the rematch. Which I did leave that stadium saying, guys, we're going to come back here, and we might just see that same team in the national championship game. So maybe we do.
I'm ready for the hype video right now. I think you just laid it out. They're going to be playing that in the locker room pregame.
That'll be fun. Me and him are going to the Lake Travis Westlake game on Friday, so that'll be fun. It's like the biggest high school game you can find in the state of Texas. It's the 2 biggest teams, so everybody, it's always sold out. So it'll be fun.
Absolutely epic. Well, good luck to.
Let's do it. And let's go Sparty.
Yeah, go green.
Sparty and Ducks, baby.
Yep, Sparty and Ducks.
That was fun.
Good work, fellas. That was awesome.
Hey.
No shot. No shot.
Let's
Those are as square as it gets.